Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 86 of the ReelTok Podcast. I am your host today, Cam Walsh, Cam Walsh 27. We have Tyler Whitmore, Tyler C. Whitmore, George, Carmi, Movies and Stuff 14, and of course, Seth Mullen-Feroz, Seth's Film Reviews. Just cannot express how ecstatic I am for this episode. It's a draft all about me, and for that, I'm very excited. It's a Cam-centric episode today, literally me. We are doing a full Ryan Gosling filmography breakdown. We're doing a Fall Guy review. We got some trailers that came out this week, some movie news, depending on time. And then, of course, or not of course, I guess, at the end, we're going to do a Ryan Gosling Guess the Movie based on its Letterboxd review for Ryan Gosling movies, that is. So that should be fun. I think it did all right last time. So we'll get right into it. Tyler, how have you been? What have you been, or I guess for now, just how have you been?
Yeah, I've been good. Obviously, big sports time like we talked about last week with NBA and NHL playoffs going on. Last night, it was like last night was Friday night for when we're recording this. It was like a Dallas double box where I was watching the Stars trying to advance in the NHL playoffs at the same time as the Mavericks and the NBA playoffs. Mavericks took care of business, won easily. Stars lost to the Golden Knights, though, and are going to Game 7, which is on Sunday, I think. So by now we'll know who advances, Stars or Golden Knights. But yeah, big fans of both. So it's been fun watching. NBA playoffs in general have been hit or miss. Some of the games and series have been really good. Some of them have been blowouts and awful, but excited for Timberwolves also. Like Timberwolves versus Nuggets should be a good series. But yeah, watching a lot of playoffs, watched a lot of Ryan Gosling this week, obviously, as we're going to talk about. But overall been solid, nothing crazy. I think later today, Riley and I are going to be going to an art museum and dinner up in Scottsdale, so it should be a little fun day ahead of us. But yeah, other than that, pretty standard week. Good.
George, how are you? How have you been?
Good as well. Work's been busy. We have a big conference next week, so everyone's kind of stressing, getting together. So long hours, but it's all good stuff. A lot of Ryan Gosling too, and a lot of tennis this week. We got Madrid going on, and then that feeds right into Rome, and then straight to Roland Garros, the French Open. So
not real things.
Exciting. All real things.
Are they more or less important than the New Rochelle Challenger?
By what tires guy or whatever.
Phil's Tire Town, I think.
Phil's Tire Town. That's it. Yeah.
They are all more important than the New Rochelle Challenger.
Is Federer playing in any?
Federer retired 3 years ago.
Terrible. Well, I didn't know if he was trying to get a quick win to get back on the scene.
I don't think Federer could beat me right now, if we're being honest.
Terrible.
But yeah, other than that, good. I'm home this weekend on Long Island, so that's why my background is this. It's our Easter tomorrow on Sunday. Today is May 4th, Cam. Happy May the 4th be with you.
I was going to say that. Happy May the 4th be with you. Obviously, when the episode comes out, it's not, but yes, recording on May 4th. We already have 5 TikToks sitting in my drafts. So talk about a day that I actually care about.
I was going to say, I'd imagine you have things prepared to go for today. Did you guys see Sophie's text just now? We got a first trailer for Megalopolis.
No way.
Really?
Live on pod? Should we?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's a first look clip. You like
First look. Oh, okay.
All right. It's still 2.5 minutes.
Really? Oh, shit. I don't want to watch it. Is it. Oh, I don't.
Will we get doxxed if we play it live pod?
Yeah.
Like, is
that
copyright? Okay. So never mind.
Damn. All right. Well, we'll talk about it later if we.
Everyone watch it when you're not speaking, and we'll talk about it shortly.
Themselves and watch it. But yeah, Megalopolis first look. But no, my week was good. Nothing crazy. Spider-Man 3 was in theaters on Monday, which was great. Other than that, did I go to the movies again this week? I don't think so. I think that was it. Oh, the Fall Guy, which we'll talk about, obviously. But yeah, that was it. Standard week. Nothing crazy.
Good. Sorry, I'll explain during my section. Seth, how are you? What have you been up to?
Nothing. Shit week. Anna's birthday tomorrow. Spending some time with her.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Well,
Anna
says thank you, or Anna, as you say.
Anna. I say Anna, but you say Anna.
No, I don't. I say Anna.
I don't know. All right, Anna, happy birthday.
Yeah, so we're doing stuff tomorrow. I've taken like a couple days off meetings wise, so I can have a couple days with her and just do some random shit. Other than that, shit week. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
go UFC. Yay. That's all I've got for you.
Yeah. I'm sorry it was a shit week. I hope it gets better.
It's already
next
better.
week is better.
On ReelTok with the boys, it's already better.
Yeah, you get to see me. So
Exactly,
lucky for you.
Of course.
Pretty basic week. So this morning I made myself a smoothie, but it's very clearly like not,
What did you make?
blended
I
enough.
also made a smoothie this morning.
So can I say something crazy? And I think I've told you this, or maybe I haven't. I have coffee in my smoothie. Is that crazy?
That's
That is
pretty
pretty
weird.
Explain
sounds-
the whole smoothie now.
What else is in it?
So it's got like kale, it's got strawberries, blueberries, banana, like a regular smoothie.
That's
Then I've
fucking
added
weird.
my coffee and vanilla protein, and you would think it doesn't work, but it works. I'm not kidding. Like it's weird. I get it. It's crazy.
I just had fruit in mine. I can't lie. I couldn't do that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
kinda-
fruit and protein powder. The coffee
Yeah.
is crazy.
it works. Like it's like a vanilla. I don't know. It tastes like a vanilla smoothie almost. Like it just works weirdly enough. But yeah, I knew it was a crazy thing. Other than that, not a whole lot going on in my life. Big smoothie time right now. That's really all I got going on. Bailey went to breakfast with my parents this morning. We had Wi-Fi issues prior to this. Just unplugged the box and plugged it back in. Wi-Fi's back, so happy about that. But yeah, nothing too crazy this week. Had a fine week of work, good week of work. But what have we been watching? We'll just go same order. Tyler, what have you been watching?
Yeah, I mean, this would be pretty quick. Most of it is the Ryan Gosling stuff, which we will be talking about. Other than that, watched Owen's new short, Carrie. So shout out Owen, continuing to crank out the content. I'm pretty sure it's for some of like his final projects for the semester of film school since it's almost summertime. But other than that, it was all Ryan Gosling. Literally the only non-Ryan Gosling I watched was last night, Perfect Blue, which
that.
I really liked. Finally watched it, long overdue. Tried to watch it twice in like February and then March, and then just couldn't get into it ever. And it finally gave it a whole watch last night. Really liked it. Didn't like overly love it by any stretch of the imagination. For some reason, like it's 82 minutes long, but for me, it felt like the longest 82-minute movie ever. And that's like the only negative I can say about it because I liked everything else about it. But I was kind of shocked at how like short it was. But like I was like watching, I'm like, man, this is kind of like it's taking forever. But that's just me. I don't know. I was talking with Owen a bit about this last night, and this might be just a problem with me, but like animation in general is just like hard for me to like get into and like love as much as like live action. Like,
No, I'm the same. I get it. Because
I know there's a lot of comparison with like Black Swan and Perfect Blue, which most of it I'm going to save for the reason I watched it was to prep for our Black Swan episode, which shout out patrons. You're going to be getting that next Friday. So I'll be diving more into it there, but really it's just like something with a camera and like a live action actor is always going to impress me like 20 times more than anything in animation. So I think even though there's a lot of cool animated shots in this, I mean, I just think I'm more impressed by anything live action, and I really like Black Swan.
I get it.
Rewatch that as well, but again, save most of that discussion for our Friday real Patreon review of the week. But really, it was just Ryan Gosling and real quick prep this week, or real Patreon prep. And other than that, it was just Owen. Shout out you. Your short film's the only thing off script that I watched this week.
Nice. All right, George.
Let's pull up that Letterboxd diary. I was just watching that Megalopolis first clip. All right, mostly Ryan Gosling, which we'll save. I watched After Sun again because Harry and Ash invited me onto their pod. We recorded yesterday. It was a great time with them. So I rewatched After Sun yesterday. I watched that short film I know we talked about a little bit, Nothing Except Everything, the one that like Aronofsky, saw
or something.
emailed. It was not.
Yeah, I need to watch.
It was really. I don't know how to describe it. Like technically it's cool. Like it's cool that this kid can like do this thing. Like I can't make this. I wouldn't have the first clue how to make this. But it's just it's so
That's what
like
he was hired for.
yeah, I guess, yeah. But he went to literally Chat GPT and just typed the word deep in, and this is what popped out. Like it's like the most like tropey, shitty, shallow thing I've seen in a long time. Spider-Man 3 was in theaters on Monday, so that was another fun experience. All these Spider-Man showings have been awesome. Everyone's been showing out, just having a great time, laughing, crying.
Going to TASM this week?
No, I was just telling or not maybe. So I have tickets to see TASM on Monday, technically tonight when this episode drops, with Sophie. But Sophie's actually coming over to watch the Met Gala with Victoria instead of coming to TASM with me. Which
Go on
is
your
really,
own.
I don't. Maybe we'll see. I might just go to
I
the
go to
gym.
every movie alone.
Same.
Making me feel sad.
We'll see. I might, because I do love TASM. I would love to see TASM in theaters because I never did. The only Spider-Man movies I saw in theaters were Holland's trilogy. I never even saw TASM in theaters, so I might. We'll see. Before sunrise,
ignorant man comment. What is the Met Gala? Is it just people dress up and walk a red carpet, or like what's the actual event?
it's a massive charity.
Okay, so like a charity event, and it's known for people dressing up all fancy and showing off new designer looks.
Pretty much. Before sunrise, first time I rewatched it probably in like a year or two. Still just the greatest thing ever. It's so good. I showed it to Victoria. She fell asleep, which was heartbreaking.
Wow.
And that was it. The rest is all Ryan Gosling stuff. So we'll get to that in the bulk of the episode. But yeah, that's outside of Ryan Gosling, pretty slow week for watches. So shout out Owen too, Carrie. An ever expanding filmography by our boy Owen. Love to see it. But that's about it.
All right, Seth, what have you been watching?
Yeah, not much. I mean, mainly Ryan Gosling stuff. We got confirmation this week we're going to actually get the Spider-Man films here, which is great. Excited for that on the big screen. Only the Raimi trilogy, not the other ones. Because I'd have liked to have seen the Amazing ones, see how they hold up as well. Similar to you guys, I've not seen. Well, the only Spider-Man I've seen in cinema is No Way Home. That's it. So I haven't seen really any.
Not even the other two Holland movies?
No, I only went to No Way Home. I haven't watched any MCU films at that time. The only reason I went to that, I watched the other two Holland movies before that. But the only reason I went is because Anna was like really excited about it and stuff. I was like, I may as well go along. It wasn't like do you know what I mean? It was like a tag along kind of thing. I wasn't really excited for it myself, but I'd be intrigued to see how they hold up. So I'm really excited to see them. I watched Logan this week. That's like the big watch, I guess. Really, really liked it. Probably in my kind of top 10 superhero films ever, I would say. Really, really good.
I'm telling you, like I don't know if you loved, but you really liked Logan without having seen like Days of Future Past
But I don't think you'd care about any of those.
I have seen Days of Future Past.
I don't. Wait, you have seen Days?
No.
That's the one where Logan goes back in time.
Which is the blue one, the blue poster.
The blue poster.
Like the original X-Men poster. Which
No, like it's first class.
Oh, okay.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
But he's not even in that movie.
Yeah, he's not in First Class.
He's there for 2 decades. But yeah, if you had seen Days of Future Past and the original X-Men trilogy, I think Logan
I've seen the original X-Men
4.5. Right.
I've seen I think I've seen all of them except that one.
Well, you haven't seen Wolverine or
I've seen Wolverine.
X-Men Origins, right?
I've seen all of these except for the Days of Future Past. I've seen everyone, but not for
You've seen Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix?
Oh no, I haven't seen Dark Phoenix. I don't know that was a
MCU. I mean that one's shit. Don't get me wrong. I'm just. You said you've seen them all.
Yeah, I've seen them all. I've got them all except from that one and Days of Future Past. That's the only.
So why were you asking if you could watch Logan?
Because I don't remember them. You know what I mean? So I was like, do I have to go and rewatch them to like get it? You know what I mean? Because I don't really. I remember I watched the first 3 X-Men a couple of years ago, or like a few years ago, because I was like intrigued. But I haven't seen the other ones. Like I think it was Apocalypse. It was like 2014, 15. I don't think that was too long ago. I watched that like when it came out.
Because Apocalypse is simply great just for the sweet dream scene, and then everything else.
I do not remember that one, but yeah, I really liked Logan. I thought it was really good. As probably expected, I think most people expected that I'd probably really like it, and I did. Shout Owen watched the same thing. Carrie watched a film, a documentary on the making of a Razorhead, which was very interesting. And that is it. Watched a bunch of Ryan Gosling, which obviously we'll get into. That's the main bulk for the week.
Yeah. All right. Myself also, shout out Owen, shout out Carrie. Diving into his filmography. I think he's ready for the MCU. I think he's got it. But
Your
I
fucking letterbox review killed me.
it's got like
It's got like a million
how many comments. I want to go see how many comments.
dog
right now.
one?
Just dog.
That was so funny for us. I really like it.
That shit was jokes.
38 comments, all just say dog. So yeah, watch that. Watched Across the Spider-Verse twice. Which you might think could have been during like Ryan Gosling times, but I went out of my way to watch that. Like Ryan Gosling was all at night. I was just like, I turned on the Across the Spider-Verse and just like watched it while making dinner and stuff twice. It's so fucking good, man. The movie is so goddamn good. I love it so much.
I haven't rewatched it yet. I want to rewatch it.
That is my most watched movie according to Letterboxd.
It's my second, right? It's my second double-digit log on Letterboxd.
It's only at 6 for me. Apparently, I just don't rewatch movies, and I think a lot of that now is just like not having time to just sit down and watch a movie. So now I have to watch everything new, right? But yeah, I went out of my way to watch Across the Spider-Verse twice because it's so good, and I was listening to like the soundtrack as I drove to work. It's just amazing. But then mostly Ryan Gosling. Other than that, I don't think I got anything else logged this week. Profile diary. Sorry, all Ryan Gosling. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, and Black Swan, of course. But again, Black Swan, real Patreon review this week. Join the Patreon. Before we get into the rest of the episode, real quick shout out to our executive producers, Stefan Johnson, Stefan Nieburak, and Sean Morales. Appreciate your support, fellas. Really appreciate that you guys have gone to that higher tier in Patreon just kind of to support us. So thank you. Really can't do this without any of you. We'll get into it.
George, did you say you met Stefan Nieburak?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nieburak, yeah. It was after...
Crazy.
It was after Spider-Man 3. He also recognized Sophie too, actually. So yeah, shout out him. Came up to me. I didn't recognize him. I kind of felt like a dick. And then he mentioned his name was Stefan, and he was one of our exec producers. So I took a selfie with him. Great guy. Awesome meeting him. Anyone that's in New York, if you see Sophie and I, come say hi. Don't be embarrassed or anything. Just come say hi. We want to say hi.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic. I will admit I probably wouldn't be able to recognize anyone, and that would again make me feel bad, like you said. But we'll move on to The Fall Guy and horrible podcasting as I pull up the. At this point, it's just kind of expected as I pull up the synopsis. Come on. Okay. So The Fall Guy, directed by David Lynch, not David Lynch, starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, new action rom-com. He's a stunt man, talking about Ryan Gosling, and like everyone in the stunt community, he gets blown up, shot, crashed, thrown through windows, and dropped from the highest of heights, all for our entertainment. And now, fresh off an almost career-ending accident, this working-class hero has to track down a missing movie star, solve a conspiracy, and try to win back the love of his life while still doing his day job. What could possibly go right? Fall Guy, actually, like coming off to some good reviews, some good buzz. It's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's like a 3.6 on Letterboxd. So some pretty good scores. We'll start with, I believe Seth is the lowest on it. So we'll start with you.
I think there's two of us that are equal. I think maybe, but
I got a 1.5 and a 2.5, right? So technically,
no, I'm 2.5. Spoiler. I'm 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of touched on my thoughts through. Obviously, I saw it I think it was like 3 weeks ago, so my memory's not quite as great. But let's pull up my review. Yeah, I mean, I didn't love Fall Guy, to be honest. I think there's stuff here. It's not a film I hated by any means, but I think The Fall Guy is a film that is, clearly, and as a lot of people have said, like a love letter to stunt performers who don't, get the recognition they deserve all the time. And obviously, there's been so much in terms of getting stunt like categories at the Academy Awards and stuff like that, which I know has been back and forth, whatever. But it would be a good idea in the future, maybe. And I think I get what this film's trying to do. Going into this, I didn't know whether I'd love it. I actually quite liked Bullet Train. It seems like Bullet Train is one of those films that on TikTok people like, on Twitter people hate. I quite like Bullet Train. I thought it was all right. I quite enjoyed it. Didn't know what to expect for this. I found it pretty messy for the most part. I think the Fall Guy falls into many of the same blockbuster traps. I think I said on my review, like it has kind of this meta humor that doesn't really land, often. There are times when it does, because Ryan Gosling is just that kind of charismatic, funny presence that always works, whatever film he's in, like even in some of the worst ones we're going to be speaking about in our rankings. But I didn't think anyone else was particularly great. I didn't think Emily Blunt was particularly good at all, to be honest. She tries. She's there. Cool. I think some of the action
she tries. And a lot of times I don't know if she's there. That's my one argument for this.
I mean, that's fine. I'm not going to defend that one. But I mean, Ryan Gosling's the only one who I particularly like, I guess. There are some cool stunt moments, which was expected. I think a lot of the action sequences are very overly long and just become kind of tedious to the point where I just didn't care. There are moments of funny bits here and there, but it's very... I feel like the central kind of relationship between Emily Blunt's character and Ryan Gosling felt very unnatural, very forced. Chemistry kind of non-existent for the most part, sometimes anyway. But I didn't hate it, but I think there was some good moments. I think it's a film where I don't know how long this has come. You might have it was like 2 hours, I think, not long.
It's like 2:20, I think.
No, it's not that long.
It was like an hour 56 with like real time, then the credits.
You're both wrong. Oh yeah. So
it's 2:05 according to, but but credits and such.
Yeah, and for me, this felt like 3.5 hours. Like this felt long after the first kind of initial half an hour, which I was kind of into at the start, and then just kind of the more I went on, similar to Luca Guadagnino as the protagonist, which is a parallel I never thought I would bring up. The more I went into it, the less intrigued I was, and the more kind of bored I was by this. So I got the 2.5. It's currently sat, which says a lot about how the year's going, in my top 10 of the year so far. It's double check this. It's at number 9th in the year so far, which is great. Didn't really like it. Honestly, might lower the rating thinking about it because I didn't really like it at all. But it is what it is. That's kind of it.
Alrighty, Tyler sitting at that 2.5 as well.
Yeah, Fall Guy was a little bit of a tricky one for me. So, yeah, I liked a lot of things about it and didn't care for a lot of things about it. So I think the final act was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with all the stunt sequences. A lot of the budget's used there in that final act, and it kind of gets to that explosive, action-packed, exciting finale of where this conflict all kind of comes to a front. But everything leading up to that final act, I was just pretty uninterested in. It was often pretty frustrating. Like the pacing just felt like it was, start and stop, herky-jerky a bit. I think Ryan Gosling obviously is incredibly charismatic. I think Emily Blunt in general as an actress is very charismatic. I just don't think them together had that charisma and chemistry together. Their relationship just didn't work for me. I wasn't very interested in it, didn't care. Similar to Seth, I like Bullet Train more. It's easy to compare the two as they're the most recent two from David Leitch. But I think like in the Fall Guy, I think like Aaron Taylor Johnson was very uninteresting, whereas like in Bullet Train, I thought he was dripping with charisma. Hannah Waddingham's character in this, didn't care for at all.
No, come on.
I actually really disliked her.
She was like the funniest one.
Yeah, she was awesome.
I like Ted Lasso too. Never cared for her in Ted Lasso either. I don't think I'm a Hannah Waddingham guy. But like Winston Duke also, he was there. Stephanie Sue was there. A lot of people were kind of just there for this. So I feel like the point of this movie was to really pay homage and show love to stuntmen and stuntwomen and the past and present that they've given us in movies. But other than that, it didn't really give me much extra. And like I said, I really enjoyed that final act. I just think everything leading up to it and building us there was kind of lost me and had me pretty uninterested. But yeah, just a little bit of hit or miss. I love that Ryan Gosling blasted Taylor Swift all too well. Incredible song in his car. That was definitely the highlight of the movie for me. Just blaring that in his car while he just sulks and looks in sadness. That's literally me. But yeah, I think Gosling's charismatic. I think Emily Blunt was solid. And I think in general, like not talking about this movie, I think she's just like a charismatic woman as well. But together didn't have that chemistry that we'll talk about, see with Ryan Gosling and so many of his other co-leads when he's in these romance type films. But yeah, love the stunt work. Thought some of the action sequences at the final end were cool. The movie that they're like making in the movie, because obviously he's like a stunt man for a movie production where Aaron Taylor Johnson's the actor. I saw Doug's review before seeing it. He's like, the movie that they're trying to make looks like Mad Max crossover with Dune. I'm like, that seems a little like hyperbolic and crazy. But then when you actually man, it looks like they're making Dune and Mad Max.
Real quick, did you see my review other than the David Lynch part? Because they actually steal the Dune theme, like straight out of Dune.
They're clearly trying to be like Dune, or it's very intentional. It's intentional.
I thought it was hilarious, because it's the Dune theme, and then they just like change it up a little bit here and there.
Yeah, the usage of that like scream too is so funny because they're just like they played it so much at the funniest times. Like, yeah, they're clearly trying to be Dune here, but like intentionally, like it's not like they're ripping it off. And then but then like the Mad Max elements, like in Doug's review, like definitely there, like with the car chase scenes and the bizarre people and like the more sci-fi alien-y otherworldly elements. I don't know, the movie they were trying to make in the movie I thought looked epic, looked sick. And yeah, basically where I'm going to land is 2.5, just because final act I had a lot of fun with. Everything leading up to it, not so much. Kind of in the middle. I don't think I'm going to lower my score or anything or raise my score. It's just kind of a fine movie.
Awesome. We'll keep going up from there. George, take us a step higher.
Just continuing with the Dune music, that was the biggest laugh of my theater by far. The entire movie, Sophie did not crack a smile once, but the Dune music did get her to chuckle a little bit. But no, I didn't mind it. I was a little disappointed just because of how much I do love Bullet Train. I think that's like a genuinely like really good movie. One of the movies that like Victoria and I find ourselves rewatching pretty often. So I do love Bullet Train. I don't mind Deadpool 2. Not the biggest Deadpool 2 guy, so I can't even say that I'm a big like David Leitch fan, but I don't know. It looked promising from the trailers, and everyone thought I was joking when I was saying that Fall Guy was like one of my most anticipated of the year, but it really was. Love the trailer. But with that said, I was a little disappointed. It was enough to like keep me smiling and keep me entertained for the entire movie. But narratively, it was just kind of like all over the place. It felt overstuffed. I didn't find myself caring about like Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt's romance. That like wasn't the aspect of the film I really cared about, which was kind of a shame because I feel like this movie was marketed more as a rom-com as opposed to like this action chase, try find this guy who's missing type movie. I don't know. That was definitely marketed heavily as a rom-com. But yeah, Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, I think, just have enough charisma. And I love Ryan Gosling. I think I can like comfortably call him my second favorite actor ever right now behind Christian Bale. Especially running through his filmography. Or some of his filmography the last week. I was just reminded of just like, this man can just do no wrong. Even in like The Gray Man, like he's just so good. He's just so funny. Doesn't matter what kind of script he's given. He's such a talented actor. But yeah, I like the movie. It was a nice, cute little like homage to stunt work. The final sequence, Tyler, like you said, easily the best part of the movie. Kind of when they just go bonkers and bizarre, jumping cars, explosions, Ryan and Emily kissing with explosions in the background. Aaron Taylor Johnson at one point is like standing on a car giving his Lisan al-Gaib speech. It was fun. The last act was fun. That's probably what like holds my rating up at a 3 right now. But it was entertaining. That's all I kind of could ask for from the Fall Guy. It kept me happy the entire time. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing revolutionary, and realistically the only time I'll revisit this movie is when it comes out on streaming and Victoria asks to watch it. But other than that, I'll probably never watch it again. But it was a good 2 hours. It was fun, it was entertaining, but definitely a little disappointed in it. 3 stars.
Yep. I'm the most high on this. If you couldn't tell just by us stepping up the ladder a little bit. 73 out of 100. For myself, 3.5 out of 5. It's my 3rd highest rated movie of the year. If we're not counting like short films. or the Bluey episode. I don't have a 4 or a 4.5 yet. I have 2 5s and then this. But I really liked the Fall Guy. I think it's the perfect movie for people that go to the movies like 4 or 5 times a year. And I recommended it to a bunch of people that I know that just like to go sit at the movies and watch just this. And I think it was fun. Ryan Gosling, without a doubt, my favorite actor of all time. I'm glad I've been on that hill for a while because I think every time he performs, it's just awesome. And he doesn't have to be. I think he's just an amazing like comedic actor. His comedic timing is so good, and I think that's 99% of why I enjoy this movie. Is just like him dropping like stupid lines. They make me laugh, and maybe it's just because it's him and I'm biased, but I think he's great in this. Emily Blunt, like I was saying earlier, just kind of gets thrown to the side like in the middle part of the movie. Unfortunately, I did think they had good chemistry. Actually, I thought they were really good at the start and finish of the movie. But like for the middle third, she's just not there. Hannah Waddingham, I love her dearly. I love Ted Lasso. I love her in this. She can do no wrong in my eyes, and she's delivering every single line like that Coke line in I don't even know what movie that is anymore. But the I don't do cocaine line that goes viral every once in a while. She delivers every single line like that. It made me laugh. It just had me cracking up. We'll get into it in spoilers. Had the best cameo of the year. And Deadpool and Wolverine is not going to do anything to touch it. I won't spoil exactly what that is just yet. But just a fun time at the movies. Take a friend, take a family member, take a significant other. And just go to the movies and enjoy some popcorn. This is a popcorn flick. And you know, it's not perfect. Most things I'll say are probably just stupid, but it's a popcorn flick. I think if you're just a general movie fan, you'll go into this and watch it and enjoy it. Maybe not everybody, obviously, but I think it's a very easy one. Like I recommended it. It's a recommend at the water cooler at work movie. I was like, if you're not doing anything this weekend, you want to go see a movie, the Fall Guy is fun. Go enjoy it.
My theater was eating it up. My theater was eating all of
like, and I think that's pretty apparent by the reviews that you're seeing on like everyone hates Letterboxd now, but it is a social media platform, and I think it is swayed by the general audience, obviously. But a 3.5 or a 3.6 is a relatively good score, and then like the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is like 87. I'm sure IMDb's around there. I haven't looked at it, but I think it's getting a good reception. I don't exactly know like how the box office is doing. I
imagine it'll do well. They marketed the shit out of this movie, didn't they?
So 28 million on opening night, 3.5 million in previews. And while I'm looking at box office, Kung Fu Panda made 500 million worldwide. Kung Fu Panda 4. What's wrong with you?
Anyone who watched that?
Who's going to see Kung Fu Panda, man?
Every single parent with a little child.
Yeah. I'm noticing that. Yeah, I can't wait till Bailey's old enough to go to the theater. I'll go see movies with him. But that's just funny. Yeah, we can get into spoilers now. There's a couple of things to spoil because it is marketed, in my opinion, like so spoilers. Official spoiler warning: a 2.5 from Seth, 2.5 from Tyler, 3 out of 5 from George, and then a 73 out of 100 from myself, or a 3.5 out of 5. So the big marketing push of this is that Aaron Taylor Johnson, who again, you mentioned it, George, or Tyler, maybe he's just kind of here. And I thought he was good, but I thought he's just kind of there to be there. And I think it's because he likes David Leitch, or they're friends. His character is the main actor. And they, what was it? He basically he was kidnapped, and Ryan Gosling needs to go save him because why not? That's the like big marketing push. That's not true. He's the bad guy, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and like early in the movie, he he presses a button to break the harness on Ryan Gosling, and that's what takes Ryan Gosling out of the game for a while. And because Ryan Gosling was like overshadowing him. None of this, it's all dumb. I'm not gonna act like it's not. Like it's all stupid.
The funniest part about the back break is that what was it, like a year later, like after the time
He's
jump,
chilling. He's good.
jacked out of his mind. Like you
He
break your
broke his
back,
you are
you're-
out for like
like you're not working out for a year, let alone like moving, and he is absolutely shredded.
Oh. Dogs are running around.
Dogs are running around.
I was gonna say
My
I
bad.
saw
I did not
something in the background.
Yeah, that was my dogs. I didn't realize like the door was open. But yeah, dogs came running through. Yeah, no, shredded. I don't know if Ryan Gosling used a body double, but if not, good for you, Ryan. Good for you. I do. Yeah,
And he looked like
exactly
Thor
right.
with that long hair.
Yeah, he did. He was looking good. But that's really the big spoiler is that like Ryan Gosling wasn't, or Aaron Taylor Johnson wasn't actually kidnapped. And that's the fun out of the movie. I think there were some good action moments in this. Like I really liked the scene in the club, the action, like the over exaggerated, like what is it? What kind of
The
lights
trip?
are those?
Oh,
Huh?
I said like the acid trip that he was on was kind of cool.
Yeah, he was on an acid trip, and it was like a very over exaggerated, like neon lights fight. And I thought that looked really good. I actually quite enjoyed that. There's a moment where he like spits gasoline and it like lights someone on fire. I thought that was fun. The end is fun. And I actually don't think the action was horrible.
I was gonna say the exact same thing about the comedy. Like the comedy wasn't horrible, but I didn't like audibly laugh. It was just a lot of like a lot
it
of
was
those.
the nose thing. Like
every time that dumb unicorn showed up, I was like, that's good. That's funny. Like, that's stupid, but it's funny. Everything Ryan Gosling said, just like he just like his line delivery is just so funny, and he's just like perfected his comedic timing so beautifully.
He really has.
Emily Blunt, though, I was like surprised, kind of like maybe not how little their screen time was, but like she really wasn't like a massive like catalyst.
No, she wasn't. Movie. This is a Ryan Gosling movie with Emily Blunt in it. Like, I was shocked by that as well.
And it was super marketed as a Ryan Gosling, and like they even did their like that little bit at the Oscars about stunt work. So I was like, okay, she's like a focal point of this movie. But then I was also thinking,
she's definitely the second build.
Yeah, obviously.
She's definitely the second.
Yeah, she's not like Stephanie Sue. Stephanie Sue just strolled onto the wrong set, and David Leitch was like, all right, you want to be in a couple of scenes since you're here? Like, that's what happened with her. But Ryan Gosling, like,
she was in Bullet Train. Or wait.
She was in Bullet Train?
No, she was in this. Sorry. I forgot she was in. I thought you were talking about Bullet Train at first. Or I went crazy. I'm going crazy.
She was the dog walker.
I think I was talking about Logan Lerman. He's in Bullet Train.
He was in Bullet Train.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. There's no world in which a stuntman knows how to fight, right?
No, but no.
Well, what do you mean?
Maybe.
I bet a lot of stuntmen are like,
imagine
do martial arts in their free time.
Yeah,
I would bet
trained in martial arts just because of the choreography and stuff, you know? Like imagining like John Wick, a lot of the stunt people in there. It's gonna be like
yeah, fair.
And a lot of them are like,
I think they spend
like a lot of them are trained on guns and stuff. Like you might think
gun fu, yeah.
I
was just most disappointed with Aaron Taylor Johnson because obviously this isn't his first time working with David Leitch, so you'd think they'd have some good rapport and chemistry because obviously they're just in Bullet Train. And I thought his character in Bullet Train just oozed charisma. Like Lemon and Tangerine's chemistry was so fun to watch. Probably my favorite part of Bullet Train is just them two. Easily. And then in this movie, it's like, the next movie he's in with David Leitch, like, and he kind of gets, because in Bullet Train he's like a side character. He's really involved in the movie, whereas this he's still a side character, but like the main kind of antagonist. So I kind of thought he would get a little more run here, but it was kind of just wasted a bit. Whereas like, and talking about just chemistry in general, like Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, I didn't think they had zero chemistry. It just didn't really, it was definitely less than average for me. Whereas like Lemon and Tangerine, like I was just glued anytime they were on screen, the lines they were given, their delivery, I was just so drawn to them in Bullet Train. Whereas everything in The Fall Guy was just so uninterested in all the dialogue.
Such a one-note villain as well, wasn't he? Like he had nothing.
Oh yeah, no, he had nothing at all.
His scenes were so uninteresting.
Yeah, and so like Emily Blunt's like basically she's a director making her break into big time movie making now. So like if this production goes wrong, like that's going to be her career ruined. And it's kind of like, well, Ryan Gosling and Aaron Taylor Johnson have this little battle of wits, battle of physicality. It's also like Hannah Waddingham and Emily Blunt behind the scenes working through things as well. So there's a lot of different conflicts going on, but none of them felt super high stakes enough. And yeah, it was like Aaron Taylor Johnson was upset that Ryan Gosling was overshadowing him. But that's such like a movie set problem, because obviously no one in the general public would ever know a stuntman is like getting like more talked about on, like, no one would ever know. Like, it's just not a thing. It's the same with like obviously like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we see a similar dynamic with Leo and Brad Pitt, but Leo's terrified of his own career going away, but it's never because he's like, oh, Brad Pitt's overshadowing. Like, no one in the real world knows about these stuntmen. I get, like, that's why this movie is great, is because it is going to elevate stuntmen and stuntwomen, continue that discussion going that I think the past couple of years especially has really started to grow in the public. But like in reality, like no one's ever gonna be like, oh man, this guy's stuntman is way cooler than he is actually. Like, no one would ever know that. And we also should mention this was a TV show. So like this like narrative and like the stuntman doing special forces action sequences, like being like a spy hunting people down, that's from a TV show. So this is like adapted from that. So it's not like completely original thing. It's I think it was pretty well liked. I've never seen an episode. It was definitely way before my time, but The Fall Guy is a TV show as well. But yeah, just fine.
Yeah, I think like 3 stars, the more I think about it, like still seems like a little high for me, but I feel like my expectations weren't in that. Like I didn't go into this movie expecting like anything quality. Like I feel like this movie made it very clear, like, yeah, this is going to be like a nice little fun ode to stunt work. And they accomplished that. Like they delivered on their stunt work promise. So like, I don't know. It's like one of those movies I went into and I was like, all right, I'm not expecting like Richard Linklater level writing here or anything. Like, I don't even think I expected something as like competent as Bullet Train, if I'm being honest.
I like this better than Bullet Train.
Really?
I'm the only one on here. Yeah, by a lot. But I have them at the same rating. I just haven't seen Bullet Train in like
2 years or whatever.
2 years. Whenever it came out, like the day it came out. But like thinking about, and maybe it's just like recency bias, but I don't know. I think I like this a lot better than Bullet Train.
I haven't seen Bullet Train since it released, but I significantly
I have no need to rewatch this movie, to be honest with you.
I haven't seen Bullet Train.
This movie, Bullet Train. I'm sorry,
but I distinctly remember enjoying Bullet Train a lot more than this. Like, distinctly remember that. Like, I came out of this very disappointed, even though I wasn't expecting that much anyway. So yeah, I think
fucking bangs.
But
yeah, just from memory, I haven't rewatched it either. But like, I think like there was better hand-to-hand combat choreography in Bullet Train, almost like action in general. Even though the Fall Guy, like looking at the two side by side, you'd think, oh, the Fall Guy is going to be the bigger, more massive action set pieces, which is true in terms of scale, like that final sequence. But I feel like from like start to finish, in terms of the rhythm of the movie, I feel like Bullet Train was almost even more action packed than this. And it just all comes down to the characters. I think it was just, they were a lot more interesting. I think like Brad Pitt's character, I don't even think was the most interesting, but Bullet Train had so much different characters that they gave enough of a backstory to. Like even with like Bad Bunny's character, like there was enough there for me to latch onto with these characters' backstories to make it interesting. Whereas like the Fall Guy is like Ryan Gosling, and then everyone else is kind of just like there for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
You want to talk the cameo?
Yeah, the cameo that I was alluding to is, so obviously Aaron Taylor Johnson is like the main actor in this universe. And he's the star of this Emily Blunt directed movie throughout. But then he becomes the bad guy, right? And so she's made this entire movie. And so it ends with her screening at Comic-Con in Hall H, which, by the way, they bring up like 4 or 5 times in this. And I thought it was very funny. Hall H of Comic-Con, like the main hall. They screen the trailer, and all of a sudden it's Jason Momoa just doing the most Jason Momoa like acting I've ever seen in my life. I was dying, man. I thought that was so funny. I forget what he says, but at one point I think he says, "Oh yeah," or whatever, like the Kool-Aid man, and it made me die laughing. It was so damn good, and that is better than anything we will get in all of Deadpool and Wolverine. No matter how much I cheer about some random cameo we get, Jason Momoa at the end of the Fall Guy will be the best cameo of the year, in my opinion. I that's like the one thing I didn't know about this movie, like, is who the cameo at the end was going to be, and when it happened, it made me laugh.
So that's kind of like David Leitch's thing, at least in. Well, I guess I don't know about Deadpool 2, I think, but like Bullet Train had. Was it Ryan Reynolds at the end?
Ryan Reynolds,
yeah.
Ryan Reynolds. So again,
Deadpool 2 has like cameos throughout. Well, does it actually?
Well, it has like the death scene
has
of where like
the-
the people,
just
but like that's
Brad
not really
Pitt.
cameos.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Brad
those aren't
Pitt's
cameos,
in
but
it.
they're not
That's-
like.
that's what it is.
Yeah,
But
Brad
that's the
Pitt.
cameo. It's just like 10 seconds. You didn't see him in the entire movie. That's the cameo. Yeah. So it is, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, not like a ton to talk about this movie, to be honest. I mean, I probably way overrated, but I think it's a very fun movie that if you go see with, say, like your parents or someone, or a significant other, like they will, and if they're not big movie people, they'll walk out of it and be like, that was a lot of fun. I think that's probably the highest praise I can give it. But I think for what I've seen this year, like I said, this is my third highest rated at a 3.5 out of 5. Like what I've seen this year, I have not had like that much fun at the movies. So I think maybe this is just kind of what I needed right now.
I think it's gonna do really well on streaming. This just seems like a streaming release will do well. And I think
Yeah.
Bullet Train did too when it came out on streaming a little later. I think it had kind of a bit of a resurgence, and you started to see the general populace posting like TikTok clips and stuff. So I think it's gonna do pretty well on streaming when it comes out. Good music in the movie too. Like I think if I just like listen to the soundtrack by itself, I'd be nodding my head and having a good time. But yeah, it's just fine. I didn't think anything was really like offensively bad about it.
Yeah, I'm with you there on the music. It definitely had some good needle drops in there, and made some fun. Anything else to say on the old Fall Guys? There's a video game called Fall Guy. We can make that joke.
I've been listening to "I Was Made for Loving You" on repeat this entire week.
Oh yeah.
This
Hell
entire week. Every time that like melody, "I was made for loving you, baby."
Classic.
Yeah,
song.
when that plays, it was awesome.
Every time I play it, I was like, "That's cool. That's fun."
Yeah. All right. And any last words, or move on to the main Ryan Gosling section of the episode? And I haven't put my list together, to be honest. Like on,
I was gonna say, are we ranking right now our top 10, or are we just gonna go through?
No. Don't rank. We'll just go through his filmography a little bit, kind of walk through maybe some upcoming projects he has. Has he been doing well? We'll just talk general Ryan Gosling things, and then we'll do a full ranking. We'll like run through the top. Like I've watched 16. I believe you guys are at like 17, 18 area. I think we should
each other. I think we'll
just
keep
run
it
through
minimal. Like with Luca, for example, just like try and not say much about like
don't say a ton about like, but we'll start. So his debut performance, I don't think anyone watched. I kind of highlighted his big ones or bolded his big ones. But Frankenstein and Me was his acting debut. I've never seen it. Don't have any intentions in watching it. But then his second acting performance was Remember the Titans, which I was actually kind of shocked by. All-time sports movie. I think like it's widely regarded as a very liked sports movie. Ryan Gosling, absolute liability at the cornerback position. Just cannot play cornerback. Cooper DeJean would laugh in his face. Any general thoughts on Remember the Titans? I love it. I
didn't get a chance to rewatch it, but I always liked it when I was younger, so I'm going to say that I still like it. Good sports movie. I like it. It's fun. It's good.
I'm not a big sports movie guy in general. I'm sure you guys know, but Remember the Titans like the most like
we learned that last week with
Challenger. You did. Yeah, you did. Remember the Titans so much better than Challengers, by the way. But Remember the Titans like the most like, oh wait, he's in that movie kind of movie with like Ryan Gosling. It's like if you, Tyler, gave Ryan Gosling as the first image on your Guess the Cast, I don't think anyone would pull Remember the Titans.
I can't even remember him in it, to be honest.
He's good at it. He sings "Ain't No Mountain High Enough," like in the locker room, and he's a good he's the good vibes guy. I wonder if that was like he's the one of the first to accept the black people onto his team, right? Like I think he's one of the first. I think he's like the least racist in that movie at the start.
It's because he knew at cornerback he was going to be cooked, so he's like, might as well make friends with these guys because I'm not going to be starting in about a week.
Yeah, that's honestly fair.
Have you guys, if you haven't, I'll send it after the pod, but have you guys seen the Shane Gillis bit where he's talking about Remember the
Yes.
Titans?
Yeah. When it's like,
I-
and then you
I'm not-
realize that's like 1980. We've been to the moon. Maybe we should have done this a little sooner. Yeah. That's a good bit from Shane Gillis.
Oh, that is such a funny bit. I'm not going to quote
Speaking
it,
of,
though.
before we get too far into Ryan Gosling stuff, we'll do it in news. Never mind, my bad. Ryan Gosling, next big movie, or I guess next movie, like he went The Believers, Murder by Numbers, The Slaughter Rule, The United States of Leland. I have not seen any of those.
I have not seen any of those at all.
I think, kind of breaking into acting. His big break came though next 2007, right? If I'm not mistaken, The Notebook.
Yeah.
2004. Damn, I'm off. Way off. 2004, The Notebook. That is his big break into Hollywood, and my belief, because I think that's where he starts like picking it up. And now you've seen all of these movies from him, and it's a very famous movie. I've never seen The Notebook. I asked Emma if she wanted to watch it this week, and she said yeah. And then we never got around to it. So sorry about that, but I watched plenty of others of his. What are thoughts on The Notebook?
It feels so dull and cliche and ridiculous. I don't like The Notebook. There's parts of it I don't mind. I don't mind the endings so much, but I watched it like last year. I think I've rewatched it since. I won't say my rating yet, but yeah, just very meh as far as I'm concerned. Very meh, very dull.
It was like the greatest romance when we were like way younger, and then we grew up and watched a million more romantic films and realized that the Notebook is just the most like trope riddled,
unnatural
romance I don't even want to call it a rom-com, just rom-dram that like we've ever seen. Not a bad movie by any means, but you're not going back to watch The Notebook when like Before Sunrise or Portrait of a Lady on Fire exists.
For sure.
Yeah, the Notebook. I don't know. It's like one of the most classic movies of all time. Like Nick Cassavetes is the director, John Cassavetes' son, and I love Rachel McAdams dearly. I love Ryan Gosling dearly. I think the overarching concept is really neat. Like I know it's based on a book, so it's not like anything the movie did, but I thought the overarching concept of like retelling a relationship, trying to get someone who's starting to lose their mind a bit to remember their relationship. I think it was very cute and worked very well. It's just like the actual meat and potatoes of the relationship, Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams falling in love, falling out of love, falling into love, all that. And all like the drama that gets thrown in. It just annoyed me like kind of greatly, but I think like the overarching idea of what the Notebook's going for, I think is really sweet, really cute, really makes you think about your own relationships and what like growing old is going to be like in that and how terrifying that can be. But like the actual like foundation of the relationship was just so meh to me. But one of my favorite Letterboxd reviews, one of the popular reviews, is me 5 minutes into the movie. This is so cheesy and unrealistic. Ryan Gosling hangs off a Ferris wheel trying to get Rachel McAdams' number. I need me a freak like that. It's just like he's crazy in this, dude. Like it's just like from the very beginning, and that's just like fine too. Like I know like rom-coms by essence, like a lot of them are just super cheesy. And this film never tries to not be cheesy. Like literally right away, Ryan Gosling hangs off a Ferris wheel that to his certain death, if anything goes wrong, just to try and get her number. She like pantses him on the like. This is very cheesy from the get-go. So at least it like sets you up right away, and it says like, don't be expecting anything like a dramatic masterpiece here. But obviously you get the rain scene, which is iconic, and then when they recreated that at like the MTV Movie Awards or whatever, was like one of the like, if social media was around that day, that would have been like exploding everywhere.
Would have been on everyone's story.
Yeah, honestly, kind of similar to me, like to what like The Fall Guy is, to where like I think Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling are like so charismatic in their own respects, but it's just the chemistry between them is definitely way stronger than between Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. But it was just a bit of an annoying relationship, to be honest. Okay. But very cute ending, very cute, very sweet. Definitely an emotional one.
I do want to watch The Notebook just because, like, I feel like it was super popular when it came out, and now people kind of look back on it as like that's actually not very good, Next film of his being Stay. I did not get a chance to watch that. He's got a large filmography. If I can, I won't count him up right now, but he's got
like
29.
Okay. Yeah, much larger than I thought, because when I was on Letterboxd and I'm like, I've seen a bunch of Ryan Gosling films, it was like 18% complete. And Letterboxd has, a bunch of short films and a bunch of documentaries about movies. So like they are diluted a little bit, but I was like, oh, maybe I need to get on this shit a little more. After Stay comes Half Nelson, a movie I'd never seen. I did watch for the first time. How many of us
I didn't get a chance to watch that one.
I did. George?
2006.
Cam, I love the first line of your review, or like the first word.
After Sun. After Sun. Yeah, that's all this movie was. And it's not fair to it that I saw After Sun first. Because I think this was fine. It just did not have any of the emotion of After Sun for me. And I think it showed you almost way too much. Like it's unfair to compare the two movies for sure. But I definitely think that they have a lot of similar themes. I think you made a note of that as well, Tyler, in your review. I think I saw that after.
Yeah, so After Sun, obviously, as we all know, ReelTok Award winner, Picture of the Year, shout out After Sun. Really what it does very well is it like peels back the curtain of, as a child, you don't really become privy to your parents' mental and emotional struggles. And usually they try and shield that from you. You're not supposed to see that. Half Nelson, very same exact thing, except it's a teacher and his students. And you see, like throughout the beginning of this movie, especially Ryan Gosling as a teacher in the struggling community where the administration doesn't care about these kids. Like people are getting failed left and right. There's one moment in the movie where they say like this school district accidentally miscalculated things and failed like this many students last year. And then the rest of the administration is like, oh well, what can you do? Like we tried. And it's like they clearly don't care about these kids. Ryan Gosling really cares about these kids, tries to be involved in their lives. It's a struggling community. But then you kind of see his own psyche very involved in drugs. His relationships aren't going well. His emotional, mental health is really in the dumps. So you kind of just get to see students start to find that out, especially one student, which that child actor, I don't know his name. I don't know if he grew up to become anything, but he was really, really great. So and he starts to see Ryan Gosling frequent the same places as his parents do, which aren't like very great places. And it's just basically exactly After Sun in terms of, Frankie Corio finding out more about Paul Mescal as her dad and his struggles is kind of like a student figuring out like his teacher isn't that, beacon of professionalism and hope he thought he was. He's also depressed, drug addicted, just trying to survive. He was Oscar nominated for this. This is his first Oscar nomination for best performance by an actor in a leading role. So shout out him for getting his first recognition in the Academy Day.
I think he had a great performance.
One of his best performances for sure. He's great.
For sure. And I think that kind of stole the show from everyone else for me, which obviously that's kind of the intent. He's the main actor. But I think he just ran circles around basically everyone. Anthony Mackie is in this. Which Anthony Mackie is an actor who, of course, I know him first from being Falcon in Captain America: Winter Soldier, and now he just pops up in a lot of old movies that I've seen. Like he's the bad guy, so to speak, in 8 Mile. Like he's rapping against. He's in this. There are other movies that he's in.
$1 Million Baby.
$1 Million Baby. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even know that one. But yeah, he just kind of pops up in movies, and I'm like, oh, okay, Anthony. I didn't know you were acting before Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I thought that was your first role ever. But yeah, I enjoyed Half Nelson some. I don't think I think it's unfair. I saw After Sun first. This is without a doubt the worst Ryan Gosling's ever looked. So congrats to them in making him look.
Really, I think he's looked worse in multiple other movies.
Think so? Like
One
Blue Valentine's, his hairline in Blue Valentine when he's like bald and looks like a trailer park dude.
Yeah, okay, I guess, yeah. But like that's not the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean Lars and the Real Girl, he looks pretty funky too.
I think he looks good still in Lars and the Real Girl, and that might be a takeaway. Like he looks
the Real Girl.
All right, moving on. Then has Fracture, and then next 2007.
No, Seth has seen Fracture. Let's talk
about it. You have? My bad. My bad.
I watched it last night. It's funny enough, my mum told me to watch this like a month ago. She really liked it. Yeah, it's Anthony Hopkins kind of playing the psycho. It's same director as the guy who made Scorsese's Primal Fear. Kind of this court drama, I guess. It's like every generic trope you could fit into a thriller. It's that. But it's like it's a decent watch. There are moments I really like the ending. It's kind of twisty at certain points, but it's very trope heavy, kind of derivative. It's like it's just like a nowhere near as good a version as Primal Fear. Did I say Primal Fear was Martin Scorsese's?
Yeah, you did.
Ignore me. I just said that. I'm getting mixed up with Cape Fear with De Niro. Primal Fear is the one with Edward Norton. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, it's like a less good version of that. It's not great. I wouldn't recommend it, but I still give it 3 stars. So whatever.
Quickly before we move on to, I think Lars and the Real Girls next. Did anyone rewatch Remember the Titans this week, or did you just all have a lot?
I've rewatched it recently-ish, like maybe within the last year.
Yeah, it's just funny because so obviously every based on a true story movie in general, not just sports movies, are going to be exaggerated to make it more dramatic. But it's just funny rewatching Remember the Titans because I hadn't seen it since I was not exaggerating, probably like 7 before I rewatched it. The final like state championship football game. It's like a back and forth game. Like the Virginia, like the school that Denzel Washington's the coach of is like down the whole time, gets a big turnover late, wins at the end. Looked up the real score, 27-0 they won.
Oh yeah.
And they held their opponent to -5 total yards the whole game.
Yep.
So it was like the biggest blowout, domination, never a doubt, like murder on the football field.
I have seen that. I have seen that stat. Like apparently they just destroyed this other team. Yeah, I have seen that. Very funny.
They made it more dramatic, which again, not saying that's a negative. I just thought like I was like, I bet it was exaggerated. How close was it? And I was like, I was not expecting it to be like the craziest blowout ever. But shout out them. And it's also was like a dynasty of a program that like won championships every single year. But I mean, the actual story is very true with like the administration being like, we're getting a lot of black kids coming into school. We're going to just kick out our white coach and put him down as assistant coach and elevate Denzel Washington, which is kind of like a crazy thing that happened. And it still ended up working out for them. So good for them. And sad about the one guy who dies in a car crash. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. He doesn't die in that car crash.
No, but in real life, like 5 years later, he dies in a car crash. So he gets in a car crash, he gets paralyzed.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And then like in the end credits, you're like, oh, he actually then dies like in another car crash.
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. All right.
So
Good fun fact, Tyler. I appreciate it. Now Lars and the Real Girl 2007. Ryan Gosling, and this is kind of where he starts to come in his own by his filmography standards. Lars and the Real Girl, another Oscar-nominated performance?
No.
Really? He had 3, doesn't he?
Yes, La La Land and Barbie. The other 2.
La La Land and Barbie. Yeah, okay. Lars and the Real Girl, fine movie. I didn't love it as much as I thought maybe I would. I saw Tyler. You liked it a lot. Again, I think Ryan Gosling is fantastic in this. I just didn't feel super compelled by the story. And it's one of those things. No way. I didn't look it up. I'm just going to assume it's not based on the true story. It's one of those things that's like so dumb that like I just don't fully believe. Like an entire town buying into this idea that he's like dating this fake girl. Like it's a small town. I get it. Like everyone knows everyone. I don't buy it. And it made it hard for me to like truly sit through and watch.
I think the point is not the doll. It's that the town is accepting his mental illness and it's showing how that can change someone's lives to the positive. So the point is like if you remove the doll, it's just the town accepting him for who he is and how that can change someone's life. That's why I kind of enjoyed this so much. For me, this is Ryan Gosling's best performance. I think this is just truly, truly incredible. Wow. I think he's amazing in this. And really, really compassionate film. Really great. I didn't expect to like it so much. Kind of that dry, dark humor as well, which I appreciate. Gosling is amazing. And yeah, it's just about compassion and understanding and how that can kind of change someone's lives. And also kind of his constant fear of mortality, of people dying around him. Just the man grief-stricken, as we see in the film. But yeah, I really like this. Really, really liked it.
Yeah, I absolutely loved this movie. I was very impressed by it. It was honestly similar to her in the sense of when her came out in 2013, I didn't see it because like the word of mouth from people I was around, like I wasn't part of like film Twitter or like anything obviously like that at the time. They're all like, oh yeah, that's that weird movie where the guy's like in a relationship with a computer, like gross, weird, like type of movie. And then I watched them like, what the hell? Like, it's way more profound than anyone ever led me on to believe. And it was incredible. Same with Lars and the Real Girl. I always just thought it was kind of like a silly movie where Ryan Gosling's, dating a doll, but it
could have been, couldn't it? Could have been like a slapstick.
But it worked so well. Like just talking so much about isolation, human connection. Obviously, we'll talk about Blade Runner 2049, which the Blade Runner movies in general are all about what does it really mean to be human. I think this movie really tackles that to a very like same regard and similar degree to me. But Ryan Gosling's performance is so good, like Seth was saying, and you feel so uncomfortable through him and for him. Like so many scenes where he's in his house, not wanting to talk to anyone or just trying to go to work, and some like his neighbor who is his what would it be sister-in-law because it's like his brother's wife was like come over for dinner, and you just feel so uncomfortable. You know he doesn't want to, and people are just still trying to seek him out for human connection, and then finally he gets this relationship and starts to. The town never like believes he's in a relationship with a doll in terms of like the doll being real, but they all kind of accept him for what he is and play into it. And then
psychologist tells them, don't they?
Right. And then he works through it, on his own schedule and his own timeline. And yeah, just really heartbreaking stuff. Like when he's going to the therapist and saying like, I don't really think this is working for me. Like, what do I do here? And it's just, I just think it's such an interesting, fascinating, unique look at mental health, isolation, connection, what it means to be human. And Ryan Gosling's just kind of at the top of his game here. I was blown away by this. I had a great time with it. Loved everything about it. And yeah, 4.5 star for me. It's one of my favorites, like movies in general.
George, did you watch it?
I did not watch it. No.
You would like it.
Well, I am glad you both enjoyed it. Blue Valentine, next acting performance. This one was very high on my list for a while. We'll see where it lands now. But I enjoyed. I haven't seen it in a long while, so I'm not gonna go super into it. I don't know who watched it most recently.
This is the only big one I didn't get a chance to watch. I think like the big one.
It's like one of the most depressing movies ever. It just kind of destroys me every time I watch it. So honestly, I'm glad I didn't rewatch it. Did anyone else check it out?
I watched it yesterday.
Oh, okay. Tyler, give me your thoughts.
Yeah,
first time?
Yeah, first time. So
okay.
Completely different movie than The Notebook, but similar in the sense of like The Notebook really shows you how terrifying it can be to grow old and fall in love and like develop that relationship over years and what like can become of it and the terrifying consequences that even in The Notebook you live a fruitful life. But in Blue Valentine, you really see in a disjointed narrative, you see Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams fall in love and fall out of love kind of in a non-linear fashion of them in different timelines when they're younger and first meeting, and they're head over heels, whimsical, having late nights, just running around town, great time together. And then, you see older Ryan Gosling is a drunk. He can't hold a job. He's kind of a burnout at this point. Michelle Williams is very unhappy with her life. She was aspiring to be a doctor, ended up being a nurse. Her career didn't pan out as great as she was expecting it to be. She's just really bummed out about her family situation. She goes through her own cycle of trauma and abuse with her parents that she starts to see starting to be repeated with Ryan Gosling. So I just think it's really great introspective film on the cycle of abuse, pattern of trauma, just how devastating it can be to fall in and fall out of love with someone. There's definitely a lot of tropes in here and a lot of over the top, like, quote unquote melodramatic or corny scenes where it's like, really hammering it home. But yeah, I just think it is a really intimate film, really devastating, tough watch, very sad. And you're just like rooting for these two the whole time. And it kind of shows like how relationships, when you get so deep, like how it's so hard to throw it away. Like I feel like relationships in general are one of those things that it's so easy to coach from the sidelines. Like if you're looking at a relationship and you see like abuse or you see just like an unbalanced relationship, you can so easily be like, oh, she needs to break up with him or he needs to break up with her. Like that's just so not working. But when you're actually like sitting inside of it, it's just totally different perspective. And you really feel that in here where, they need to go their separate ways, but that, they're in love. They've had these years together and it's hard to just throw that all away, hard to throw that ring out in the weeds. Yeah, I think it's a really devastating movie. I'll leave it there. Kind of crazy that this wasn't like one of the Oscar nominated ones, but what I've come to realize in this Ryan Gosling watch through is like he gets so many great partners too. Like, I mean, when you look at like the people he's going toe to toe with, like Rachel McAdams, Michelle Williams,
Carey Mulligan.
Yep, thank you. I was blanking on her name. Emma Stone, Carey Mulligan, Claire Foy. He's always getting like the great
Russell Crowe,
great actresses of today on the other side. Yeah, Russell Crowe as well. Yeah, for sure.
Great actress.
So he's like one of the most charismatic guys, maybe like the most charismatic actor like ever, but he's always getting paired with someone else at that top build level who's like almost equal, which just makes all these very, very pleasant viewing experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. You struck the nail on the head, Tyler, about like just how devastating this movie is and like the pain that life can be, just like through living life, things don't pan out how you plan always, and you can get knocked down a million times, and sometimes it's just too much to overcome. Just breaks my heart every time. I'm very glad I did not watch it again. George, you've seen this, right?
I've seen it. I didn't rewatch it. But yeah, Tyler hit the nail on the head. It's a really devastating look at love. Ryan Gosling, and Tyler also just touched on it. This man can act alongside anyone. I don't care who you put next to him. And maybe that's why we don't look at Emily Blunt as being too impactful in The Fall Guy. It's because Ryan Gosling has blessed us with these just fantastic chemistry performances alongside some of the great actresses we've ever seen. He's fantastic in this. His career, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts about this. How did he go from playing the character in Half Nelson and Lars and the Real Girl and Blue Valentine to doing Crazy Stupid Love and The Place Beyond the Pines?
I mean, I think you just see it in someone. You just see that he's got this charisma, and you forget, back in Remember the Titans was not a dramatic role in any way.
Yeah,
it was a charismatic role. And there's a lot of movies prior to The Notebook that we haven't seen. The Believer, Murder by Numbers, The Slaughter Rule, The United States of Leland. No clue what kind of character he plays, but I think you just tell. I think this guy's got it,
It is an interesting one though, because I think before it really dove into Ryan Gosling's filmography and looked at it deeply, I just kind of had an idea of what his filmography looked like, and it was almost like a bit of a Mandela effect where I thought it was similar to Bradley Cooper's early roles. Where it's oh yeah, Ryan Gosling was a rom-com guy. He had The Notebook and must have had several other rom-coms. He was a rom-com guy that then transitioned into drama. But The Notebook kind of sticks out. That's a rom-com, and then everything else around it is drama, very character study heavy movies. So it is interesting. Crazy Stupid Love. Before I looked at his filmography deeper, I was oh yeah, it's just a natural another rom-com for Rye guy. But no, it's he's kind of rarely in rom-coms.
Yeah. That will take us to, did anyone watch All Good Things first off? All Good Things is his next billed acting performance. I did not watch it. That does take us into a good segue to Crazy Stupid Love. Probably his most famous rom-com, right? For sure. Well,
shout out, real quick review. I think we did Crazy Stupid Love, didn't we? Real quick review.
Yep.
I'd probably say The Notebook's probably more famous, but
is that a rom-com?
Yeah,
it's a rom-dram. There's no com in The Notebook. So yeah, it's most famous rom-com because I think it's his own.
Okay, it's his only rom-com. Yeah. But one of the most famous rom-coms, I guess I should say, at least now in revisionist history time, where just everyone loves this movie, it seems like. And it's so damn good. It's awesome. And I feel like I rate it too low, and you'll see where it is. But I feel like I just rate it too low just based on how much the looking back on it, I fucking love this thing. Fuck David Lindhagen. Steve Carell is fantastic in this. It's not it's becoming an underrated thing like the Planet of the Apes is, in the sense that this is the most underrated twist of all time. Everyone says that now. But it really is a great twist. And you don't get twists in rom-coms, so I think that's what makes it so awesome, is that you just don't expect a twist in a rom-com of Steve Carell and Ryan Gosling being best friends, and the way they pull that rug out from under you is so damn good, man. And then that scene where they just fight it's just awesome, man. This movie's truly awesome.
That entire sequence when Ryan Gosling walks out the door and sees Steve Carell and he just stops and it's so funny. It is so funny. It really is one of the craziest twists just in the film. It comes out of nowhere. You just don't expect Emma Stone to be Steve Carell's daughter in that situation, and then they punch you in the face and everything comes together, and it's just the funniest fucking scene ever.
This is where the literally me starts. Do we agree?
Oh yeah, without it.
Everyone
no one is
wants
saying
to be Ryan Gosling in this movie.
Yeah,
no obviously a playboy and everything. No, I saw a lot of also. Tyler, I meant to say this. Don't look at popular Letterboxd reviews. It's cheating. It was earlier. You read one, but I did see a couple Lars and the Real Girl, literally me comments. But I think everyone just wants to be Ryan Gosling in Crazy Stupid Love. The way he immediately just walks over to David Lindhagen and punches him in the face is so goddamn good, man. And you're like, man, that guy's fucking awesome. I love him, you know?
There's, of course, the first of the Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone trilogy.
Yeah, which shout out Tyler, got me on a Trivia 10 question with this embarrassing moment.
Which is crazy that you remember Gangster Squad and not Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah, I remember Gangster Squad and not Crazy Stupid Love. Crazy. But any other thoughts? Go watch ReelTok Podcast. Real quick episode. Something
real quick. It was one of our first real quicks too.
It was early. It was early.
Maybe not one of our first.
I think it was actually a while ago.
Then moving on to the most literally me movie, Drive, which is, I think, revisionized to be like, this is one of Ryan Gosling's best. People love it. I don't remember hearing anything about it like when it was first coming out in the 2011.
I was like 12, so I wasn't even in like the.
I was gonna say the complete opposite, Cam, where like this movie has been revised, where people just like hate it now, where it's like everyone says it's like, it's an underrated movie that no one's ever heard of, and now people just like hate on this movie because of that. It's like, oh, it's a Ryan Gosling movie. It's not.
I think it's one of those
like Artur film that no one's heard about. Yeah, I feel like every time someone talks about Drive on TikTok, it's in like a negative way now.
It's like Fight Club, you know, like a few years ago it'd be on all like the edits, and now I like it. It was like
now it's like it was so talked about, and people were calling it underrated for so long that I think everyone just got pissed off about it. But it is one of his best for sure. If we were to rank his movies based on performances, this would probably be top 3 for me. Maybe. I would really have to look at that list.
I won't fight you. Tyler, I know this was your first watch, and I think you loved it. Give your thoughts.
Yeah, so I'll probably mispronounce his name, but like Nicholas Winding Refn, the director.
Yeah. I think so.
He's got the juice as a director. Visually, this movie is so gorgeous, striking, masterfully directed, brilliantly edited, beautifully shot. Like this movie visually looks so good. And we'll talk about Only God Forgives, which is also directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, which also just like directing wise, just brilliant. But Ryan Gosling kind of like, we talked about Sydney Sweeney with Immaculate. Ryan Gosling kind of like made this film happen. There was a director attached, forgot his name. He was removed from the movie, and Ryan Gosling was the one who attached Nicholas Winding Refn to the movie. So he went out, got a director, made this happen, one of the producers. So Ryan Gosling really made this production kind of come to life. I just think it's so visually striking, ultra violent, very gory, like definitely more like than I was expecting from Drive. It's like, it's hard. And I said this in my review, like I just wanted more of everything. Like I wanted more scenes of him being a getaway driver early in the movie. I wanted more of his relationship with Carey Mulligan. I wanted more of the overall mob connections and that stuff. But like at the same time, I think it's so well paced and tightly packed in this 90-minute runtime that it's just me just being greedy and wanting more because I loved every bit about this. But like I was so enthralled from the get-go, like the opening mission of him, like, you know, going to the Clippers game to get run away from the cops, like, and the start and stop cat and mouse chase. So good. But I think visually this is just so well directed, so well shot. I think Owen might be the one who's like high on Nicholas Winding Refn, at least some of his movies. But yeah, I thought
he likes Only God Forgives.
Well, in terms of Ryan Gosling and Nicholas Winding, but like he has a movie. He has Bronson. He has the Pusher trilogy.
I'm really high on them. Yeah.
But visually this movie's just so great, and Ryan Gosling's awesome as well. And I had a blast with it. Like the first line of my Letterboxd review is like, you know, I had the choice. This is one. So I've been buying so many movies on Amazon lately because you rent them for $3.99, and usually it's like buy for like $10.99 to $15.99 or something.
Wow!
But some of them are discounted. This one's for $7.99. So it's like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll buy this one, and I'll be rewatching it for sure. I had a blast with it. And then Bryan Cranston just kind of there, but he's fun. But Ryan Gosling
is always a presence.
So great in this, and we'll talk about this in some of his other films too. He's so great at communicating with just facial expressions, and there's a lot of that in Drive. So, but just the visuals crazy, and the score is insane as well. Just Drive is awesome.
All right, moving on. Well, we can talk more Drive when we rank them as well, because I'm sure there'll be some people with them up high. The Ides of March, all three of those, Crazy Stupid Love, Drive, Ides of March, came out in 2011. Heater year for Mr. Gosling.
Mhm.
The Ides of March, not my favorite. Gave it I just literally just rated it. I watched it last
And
night.
half.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to think of my 100 number. I don't
Oh,
know.
I got you.
It was good. I enjoyed it for the most part,
70.
but it was. I will say I did watch this while playing Rocket League with Kevin and Alex Coleman. Not my most like locked in watch of my life, but I'm gonna count it on a letterbox list.
Well, what I will say though, because I watched it last night too, is that this low key, it could work as a podcast. This movie, it's just basically dialogue driven. The visuals,
It is very
visuals are
dialogue-driven,
not anything to write home about. There's never a moment I'm like, oh, that shot's really cool. Low key kind of could work as a podcast. Like it's just a political drama. I watched it late last night too. It was the last Ryan Gosling watch I did, I believe. So it's kind of like where I ended my Ryan Gosling run through. The cast is stellar. Like you have George Clooney, who's running for president. Ryan Gosling's like a staffer for him. And then like the rival staffer is Paul Giamatti, but on the same staff as Ryan Gosling is Philip Seymour Hoffman. So kind of just like some all-time names.
Cast in this, by the way.
Yeah.
There's more than just that. And you can continue.
They got Max Minghella, the guy from Social Network, who's also in Babylon, who like I've never seen him in a movie where he's not just in a suit. Like that's just like he's just typecast as like business executive guy.
He's in the Internship as like the dick.
Yep, he's just always business professional. Max Minghella.
Marissa Tomei, Jeffrey Wright.
Oh yeah, I forgot Marissa Tomei. Jeffrey Wright too. Yeah, sheesh.
Evan Rachel Wood. Just a good cast. Good cast. All throughout.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman was kind of just like one of like the most wasted he's been though. He's just kind of there. He doesn't really have many scenes where I'm like, oh yeah, one of the greatest actors of all time is in this movie. Paul Giamatti's like the only one who I felt like was used adequately, and I mean other than Ryan Gosling, who the story kind of focuses on. But Paul Giamatti's awesome in this, and it's just kind of a movie that's supposed to show you about like the muck that politicians and staffers for politicians will go to and the lengths they'll go to in order to climb the ladder in politics. And obviously some scandals happen, but I don't know. It's like one of those things where like you watch and I almost felt like this is like would be on the tamer side of what actually goes on in real life. Like I feel like this was like a regular Friday night for like most like presidential candidates of like scandals they're trying to throw under the rug with like an affair they're trying to hide. But yeah, it was compelling. I think the final 30 minutes are where it gets interesting. But speaking of his facial expressions again, his crazy eyes in this are crazy. Like he truly goes insane and only cares about getting a job, which I guess maybe that's another literally me in this job market right now. I know a lot of people are struggling to find jobs, even though everyone says they're hiring. But like I've seen a lot of people in our generation complain about like how long these hiring processes and interviewing processes are taking. So Ryan Gosling, literally me, might go to insane lengths in order to get a job. But yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I agree with that. It is a fine movie. I would say pretty good, not amazing. All right, so next three movies, kind of a small stretch here that I'll let you guys talk because I don't think I've seen any of these except Gangster Squad, which sucks. The Place Beyond the Pines, Gangster Squad, and then Only God Forgives. Gangster Squad sucks. But I'll
Gangster Squad does. Yeah, Gangster Squad's. I don't know if you guys watched it. It's very, very, very messy. It's very Hollywood tropey, over the top kind of gangster film. The cast, like Sean Penn, Josh Brolin, Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling. I think there's a couple other people as well. Great. None of them are great. It's really dull. This is definitely one of my there isn't many. I was saying this to Tyler yesterday. I think there aren't many Ryan Gosling films that, spoiler, I don't like or that I think are bad. This is one that I think is genuinely really bad. Definitely.
Yeah, it wasn't one of the ones I was like crawling to rewatch. I was actually very close to starting it last night after I watched The Big Short, but I ended up starting Drive and just not finishing it because it was too late. The Place Beyond the Pines is like the first movie where I started to take Ryan Gosling seriously. Not because I didn't like Ryan Gosling prior to that movie. It's just that I wasn't familiar with his game. I had only really known him in The Notebook, and then I had seen The Place Beyond the Pines because I was very late to like diving into his filmography when I was in like late high school and college. Certainly one of his better performances. Certainly a performance that I just struggled to wrap my head around on how he wasn't nominated for this. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. And going from something like Crazy Stupid Love to the Ides of March, The Place Beyond the Pines, the man's range is just out of control. The Place Beyond the Pines is fantastic, but it's not one of the Ryan Gosling movies I find myself revisiting as much as obviously like a La La Land or a like The Nice Guys or Blade Runner 2049. And then Only God Forgives, I just watched for the first time like 2 days ago. Tyler, you mentioned it. Stylistically, it's awesome. It really is. There's not a shot selection that is wasted. Every single shot just looks like so meticulously crafted, and it's perfectly understandable why like someone like Owen, who obviously prioritizes the image over the actual writing, would absolutely adore this movie, because it really just was. The image was front and center. It was beautiful. It was just soaked in neon. Everything just looked so beautiful, so symmetrical. Every single shot just felt like it had so much meaning. The narrative of this one kind of felt underutilized. It's a very like tame, I don't even want to call it like a revenge tale. But it was very tame. It kind of made me a little uncomfortable the first couple of like 20 minutes of this movie made me a little like, I was like, okay, if this is going to be like a central theme of this movie throughout, I might not love this. But yeah, the Only God Forgives really is just a beautiful looking movie, but definitely one of the Ryan Gosling performances I felt where he himself was underutilized. It definitely wasn't one of his like stronger performances, which is also weird because like if I were to rank all these performances, First Man, Blade Runner, Drive, they'd all fall like closer to the top of my list, because I do love like a more like tame and like intimate and reserved Ryan Gosling, as opposed to something like, you know, Barbie or The Fall Guy, where he's a little more eccentric. I like when he's a little more like intimate. So it's a little odd that I don't love him in Only God Forgives, because he is very reserved in that movie, but it's almost to the point of like feeling underutilized. Yeah, those are my quick thoughts. I want to revisit Only God Forgives, and I definitely need to revisit The Place Beyond the Pines, but I want to definitely revisit Only God Forgives and have a little open discussion with Owen about it while I do.
Yeah, well, I texted Tyler last night because I didn't want to spoil it if I can. But The Place Beyond the Pines, I think, Tyler, you said the same, wasn't the film I expected at all going into it. Obviously, I won't say, but essentially it kind of begins as this simple, you know, crime thriller. And yeah,
it came out like what, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, probably more than. You
12.
can spoil it.
but you haven't seen it.
I'm all right with that. I'm all right.
Nice.
If I didn't get around to it this week, I'm not sure I'll be getting.
Hey, I was just trying to be nice. Anyway,
I appreciate it. That's why I'm telling you. You can spoil if you want.
Fine. It basically, yeah, 'cause, like it begins as like, I won't go into the whole story anyway. It begins as like this simple crime heist thriller, whatever. Ryan Gosling is great, kind of Eva Mendes, and you've got like Mahershala Ali as well, and kind of that relationship and the struggles of him trying to, you know, get money for his family, and then it quickly devolves after we see Ryan Gosling's character, spoiler, die, into this thing, like a film in kind of three sections on like fatherhood and fate, and also corruption within kind of authorities, within the police specifically, with Bradley Cooper's character. This is very much for me, and I said this to Tyler last night, this is the film of two fantastic first two acts, like to the point where I thought I was going to be the 4.5, whatever, and then a really underwhelming third act for me that I think kind of is just a little bit too coincidental, a little bit too tied in, very kind of Hollywood-esque. I think they kind of didn't really know where to land. I don't think the ending had as much impact as you know they probably assumed it would emotionally. But the first two acts are really, really good, and I do like, you look at I think I said this in my review, look at the synopsis of this film, it doesn't give away anything. Seems like a Titan, as I said before, where you look at Letterboxd and it's like completely different to what you're reading on there. And I do appreciate the deviation from that. I think it's an ambitious film with great first two acts. Third, I think it was pretty mediocre.
Yeah, like I was mentioning to you about it, where obviously like Ryan Gosling dying like halfway through the movie is a big like twist. Like you don't really see that coming. Like he's on the poster, he's on the header of Letterboxd. The movie's a synopsis, like you said, is about a motorcycle stunt man. Then he dies relatively early on.
So and then like 50 minutes in, it's like
it's like halfway. Yeah. And then it immediately shifts to them focusing on Bradley Cooper's character, who's a police officer, and shows the workings, like you said, of corruption within the police organization. But it was one of those things that like right when Ryan Gosling gets killed by Bradley Cooper and it like switches to a Bradley Cooper narrative, I immediately thought like this could completely fall off the rails and really, really crumble. But then I was surprised that it didn't. Similar to Seth, I didn't love the final scenes, especially Dane DeHaan. I think is quite bad in this.
I think both of the teen,
the two teams. I just don't know the guy's name, but yeah, they're both bad.
Yeah.
But Dane DeHaan, I'm always singling you out because I know your name. But yeah, I think that part gets pretty rough. But I think the Bradley Cooper police corruption. Bradley Cooper's just kind of like a very intimidating, scary guy, and who's very much entrenched in this corruption at this point. And I was really interested. It hooked me back into the story after Gosling died, even though I loved the first part.
Yeah, so
but then the ending just kind of fell a bit flat, but I still liked it a little more in Seth. I give it a 4-star. This is where Ryan Gosling meets his wife too, Eva Mendes. So shout out.
I didn't know they were married either. So
I
didn't really until recently.
Not married.
I don't think they're not married. They have two kids together. They're
whatever. They're
whatever.
They're not legally signed. But
yes,
for 10 years they've lived together and been married except a legal document. Like they're very much together as a family.
I didn't know that until recently either. Like I didn't know they had 2 kids together until fairly recently either.
Yeah, like he dedicated his whole like Oscar speech to her, and yeah. But then talking about Only God Forgives, and we kind of bundled them together. Ryan Gosling's character, we see, and I said this in my review, like we see him go through some of the most devastating things throughout his filmography. But Only God Forgives might be the worst in terms of his mom, like talking in public about like he's like, yeah, I mean, his brother's dick is massive, and Ryan Gosling's, man, like it's just tiny. And I was like, that's gotta be the worst thing you'd ever hear, is like your mom just publicly roasting the size of your dick in a public club. I was like, Jesus, that's terrible. I think he says like 2 words in this, and he's whatever. He's there. He doesn't really do much here. It's Nicholas Winding Refn again, working together with him, but visually gorgeous. But Chang, the character Chang, is like who kind of steals the show and is the main guy that's most intriguing. And he reminded me a lot for most of the movie of Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. He's so intimidating, just staring at people and always there lurking. But then by the end of the movie, I was convinced that like Anton Chigurh would be terrified of this guy. Like Anton Chigurh would be running away during his life. No, this dude would hunt down and track him down and kill him for sure. With just his little bladed knife. So sick, so epic. But this movie visually is masterful, brilliant. The narrative kind of lacks a bit, but again, similar to Drive, which is obviously another movie from the same director, very brutal. But this one like 20 times more, like so gory, so visceral, and like uncomfortable to watch from how gross some of the torture scenes are. But yeah, it's like a whatever movie, but I visually I loved it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Probably more with George. Well, I get a 3-star. George, do you get a 3-star? I think you did as well.
3-star, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sure. I think that I love the kind of the neon lights, and the like. Some of the images in this are amazing. I do quite like Ryan Gosling's kind of approach. I think weirdly enough, I some of the symbolic nature is really great with the mother and son stuff, but I kind of think it would have worked better with like no dialogue in a sense, because I think the dialogue that comes out a lot of the time isn't great predominantly. There are a lot of symbols. Like it's one of those you can't get everything on the first watch. I think I've seen all of Nicholas Refn's films. Definitely not my favorite. Same with Drive. I don't think I said anything about that. Same with that. But I think he always has like an intriguing style. Like he did one with what's her name? Ellie Fanning. With the Neon Demon like a few years ago. Very, very, very similar in terms of symbolic nature, in terms of this kind of neon visual image, just bright colors, and really, really interesting film. One I'm gonna have to rewatch, but I didn't love it by any means.
Awesome. All right, good discussion on those 3, or except Gangster Squad, which sucks. But now moving on to what I believe, not to spoil anything, is the best. This is like the KML.
We all know you love it
so
much. You're not spoiling anything. We know Adam McKay, your guy.
I'm not even talking that. Like looking at the run, this is the best 5-stretch movie I've ever seen in an actor. I have 4 5 out of 5s and 1 4.5 out of 5 in the next 5 movie run from Ryan Gosling. I am all in on this guy in this like 2016 to 2020, or not even that, 2018 time. Starting off The Big Short. Adam McKay is my favorite director just because he makes movies like this. They're smart, but they're like taking a subject and making it funny so that like I actually like it. But The Big Short, one of my favorite Gosling performances of all time. He's just kind of a dickhead. 99% of this movie is told from his perspective, right? But then you get the cuts of a bunch of different people who are learning about this shortage in America, leading to the 2008 financial crisis. Just an awesome movie in my opinion. I love it so dearly. Christian Bale is fantastic. Steve Carell is fantastic. You got what's his name from Secession. Marissa Tomei, I believe again. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, she's married to Steve Carell. Yeah, just absolutely adore this thing. Jeremy Strong, he wasn't even who I was talking about from Secession. I believe they have the other kid as well. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but Jeremy Strong's in it. Finn Wittrock, Brad Pitt, just a banging cast. Karen Gillan at one point, Margot Robbie, Selena Gomez. Again, this is a movie that Tyler got me to overthink myself on a Trivia 10. What an asshole.
Remember that.
But I fucking adore this thing. I love the way it blends the humor with the drama that is this situation, because like people's lives are getting fucking ruined. I just adore it. I really, really do. George, anything? Seth, anything? Tyler, anything?
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. I love this movie, and I'm a big fan of Adam McKay. It's kind of like, for me, like the best of both worlds in a sense, where like I'm so obviously invested in like finance. It's my day job. It's kind of what I focus on more often than like movies, I would say. So coupling it with like a narrative that just is entertaining to watch, and like you said, like it's a complex situation and they're turning it into a comedy. And I think that's fucking hilarious. I think that makes for a really intriguing experience. Also, I think it was Tyler's review where he like criticized like Adam McKay's editing, which is understandable. It's chaotic. It's all over the place. Yeah, I love it. It works for me every time. I've seen like Don't Look Up a couple times. I've seen Vice a couple times. It truly just like, it always hits. I don't know what it is. It's so fun to watch. It's just so unique. There's not a lot of filmmakers out there that are just cutting scenes together so like chaotically. The entire ensemble cast is phenomenal. I didn't realize John Majaro was in this movie until I rewatched this last night, and it was kind of like one of those like Leo pointing at the screen moments, like, oh, he's in this.
Yep.
Even someone like Hamish Linklater. I don't know if you guys ever saw Midnight Mass, but he's fantastic. He's kind of underutilized here. But yeah, this is a really good movie. I did lower it from a 4.5 to a 4-star, which
you're a fucking asshole. You should fuck you, man.
Stop it. That's not like, everyone kept saying like, damn, what's like, why are you lowering it? Like, it's not like, that's not like a bad lower. That's just like I haven't seen the movie in a little bit of time, and maybe I inflated my ranking when I first got Letterboxd and was like quickly going through all my rankings. But movie still bangs. Movie still absolutely rips. Surely one of Adam McKay's best in my mind. I would take it over like Step Brothers and Anchorman. I'd go as far as saying that might be his best, if I'm being honest, now that I'm looking at his filmography. But yeah, definitely a standout among Ryan's filmography for me.
Yeah. And then Tyler has it a lower score, so I'm not even going to let him talk because I don't want to hear it right now. Kidding.
You don't want to hear no haters.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Of course, I think he's taking a break. Next up, The Nice Guys. Again, the best comedy ever. I fucking love this movie so much. I don't know what it is. I think it's just Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe have the best, like, I think it's the best chemistry I think Ryan Gosling's ever had with someone is with Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Like they bounce off each other so well in this thing. And the scene where Ryan Gosling punches through the glass and then cuts his hand and then just starts like crying. It makes me die laugh every single time.
That's a lot of blood.
Yeah. It's so funny, man. And just like every time his daughter, Gorney Rice, let me look it up. Gory Rice, every time she says and stuff, and he's just like, don't say and stuff, just say there are whores here. It's so funny, man. It makes me laugh every single time. I love this thing dearly. Margaret Qualley in a classic, like, where the fuck did she come from role? Because she's just like randomly in this. And then there's Matt Bomer, a couple other people. Ty Simpkins plays the kid at the very start. He's like in Iron Man and Jurassic World, so that's why I know him. But I think this is just one of the funniest movies ever. It makes me laugh so hard every time. Every time I need a comfort watch, I put this on. Maybe not every time, but a lot of times I need a comfort watch. I'll put this on. It's just a fantastic time. Bummed I didn't rewatch it. I may rewatch it tonight or something. I love it.
Seth,
Yeah,
you like the Nice Guys?
He gave it a 3.5, so it's dead to me.
I did like it. 3.5 is good. You
That's
guys,
Was that your first watch?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I liked it. I think it has some like really. I really like Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. I think their chemistry is great, as Cam just said. Kind of classic 70s buddy cop style, but with some like profound. I think it tried to tackle a lot more than I was expecting. I was expecting like just a strictly comedy, which is always good. I didn't find it that funny personally.
Terrible.
Oh, you're lost.
Boo! Boo!
I didn't find it that funny.
Oh, funny.
Boo! Change your humor. Change your humor. Fix it.
I didn't find it. I found some moments funny. I found like the glass sequence funny. I did find that funny. That made me laugh. But I think Ryan Gosling, he is just a joy to watch. I think a lot of the humor didn't land, but when it did, it was really, really good. I just found it a little bit messy in terms of it's very, very stuffed in with stuff. Very like it tries to tackle a lot, and I don't know if that works entirely for me, but it was still a good film, and I still definitely enjoyed it. And I think Russell Crowe is like great in it as well. I can't think of many other comedies he's done, or maybe I'm just misremembering.
I mean, the
Comedies,
Pope's
no.
is kind of a comedy.
Thor:
Love
Love
and
and Thunder?
Thunder. Yeah,
Oh,
Thor:
yeah.
Love and Thunder.
I mean, he's in it
I
for
actually-
like 5 minutes.
That's like the only one I think. So yeah, he was really good. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, he's very funny. Tyler.
Yeah, I like the Nice Guys. I don't love it as much as I think you and George do, but I like it. I think it's funny. I think it's an easy one that they could have had a sequel to if they wanted to throw out a new sequel. Like I feel like the Nice Guys, everyone always talks about having a sequel. I think it'd be very easy to make one. And I think, Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe together, awesome duo. So much chemistry between the two. So many funny back and forths. The narrative itself, found it to be a little because I've logged it twice on Letterboxd, but I've seen it 3 times. Like I initially saw it when it first came out. I think I liked it most when I first saw it, and then on rewatch, it's lost a little bit of its charm. But I mean, still just a very fun movie.
Yeah, the big reason I assume it does not have a sequel is a $50 million budget and made $60 million. So
True,
I
it
mean,
did-
like
did
didn't
flop.
Yeah, it did flop. Which kind of makes sense. It's like very much a movie that's kind of come back. Sorry, burp. It's like a movie that's come back now that like Twitter and TikTok, you'll see this thing all the time on those platforms, and people love it. And it does have a wide following. I think it should get a sequel. Everyone does. But then moving on to widely loved La La Land, one of Ryan Gosling's probably Ryan Gosling's most famous movie. Because as I was doing like all the popular reviews, trying to find reviews for this game, like almost every top review is like a La La Land joke or something. But I would say this most likely is most popular movie. Obviously, Emma Stone won Best Actor. It won Best Picture for like 5 minutes, right? Is that this one? This is that one that won Best Picture for 5 minutes, and then
And he's also nominated for Best Actor here. But
yeah, nominated for Best Actor. Damien Chazelle's not directorial debut. His directorial debut to people who don't know his first movie. Is this his third? What's his second?
Whiplash was second.
Oh, Whiplash. Okay, yeah, okay, never mind. I was thinking of The Park Bench and then this. Yeah, you're right. My bad. So never mind. But Damien Chazelle cooks on this. The score, the songs are amazing. John Legend's in it. Plenty of other people that I just can't think of right now. But La La Land's fantastic. I think George, Tyler, and I are extremely high on this, and Seth is relatively high on it. I know he's a little lower, so give your thoughts, Seth.
Yeah, I like it. It's not like something that I love by any means. I think that visually, I mean, I've only seen it once. I do want to kind of watch it again because I want to see how much I like it now. I think visually it's amazing. I really like the way kind of Chazelle is behind the camera. I think especially in this one, some of the use of color is really good as well. I do think Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling are really, really great together. It's stuff that lost me at certain points. It's not. I'm not like huge on musicals. There are some that I love, admittedly, but I'm not huge on most of the time. I definitely like this film, but I don't love it. But yeah, I'll be keen to see how it holds up on another watch anyway, because I think I watched it like a year and a bit ago, probably more actually.
Yeah. Have you ever actually thought that you're wrong? Have you ever taken that one into account?
Yes,
I think you should try.
I mean, La La Land's my favorite movie of all time. So there's nothing I don't need to say more about it. The music is incredible. There's going to be in my wedding for sure. We'll have some sort of renditions of several of these songs because they're so great. Visually stunning, like Seth was saying. Just visually, all of Damien Chazelle's films look so great. And Justin Hurwitz and him together, they're an unbeatable pair. And I can't wait to see what else they cook up because I know Damien Chazelle's that other movie in the works, and I imagine Justin Hurwitz is coming back. But them together is just a dream. Ryan Gosling, such a fun movie. I know he just recently was talking about in an interview that he wants to not do as many dark roles anymore because of his family and his kids, and he doesn't want to put himself in that mental state. And he kind of said La La Land was like the first one of his filmography that was like a really like family production in terms of he would bring his kids to set, like play piano with them, dance with them, sing, have a fun time. So kind of like almost the beginning. I mean, he has
glad he was having fun.
Yeah, he was having fun. The viewers not so much because it's obviously a devastating film. But yeah, I mean, he obviously learned a ton of piano for this. Unfortunately, we didn't get the City of Stars live performance of the Oscars. He declined doing that one live, but he did do I'm Just Ken. Makes a whole ton of sense though, because like I'm Just Ken, you can have like fun with performing. Whereas like City of Stars, like definitely got to be intimidating because obviously you learn piano, but like to do that live, like an actual like song you're gonna have to perform and like do well technically, I feel like would be way more intimidating.
You can walk up and just speak.
Exactly.
Like,
you can just be
like, and
a
everyone
silly
will
goofy
love it.
man.
Yeah.
Whereas I imagine City of the Stars, the idea to him of performing like, you know, he's not a classically trained pianist. He basically learned it in a couple of years leading up to this. Like that had to be like a terrifying prospect. So understandable why I didn't perform that. But I mean, it's my favorite film ever. And my dogs are barking, so I gotta go let them out. But peak.
Yeah. George, you feel the same? I know.
Yeah. One of my favorite films ever. Every time I watch it, I feel like it just climbs higher and higher on like my favorites list. I love it. I think it's such a beautiful and heartbreaking just portrait of love and sacrificing your loved ones, not to death, but just out of love for like a better career. All the pieces here just kind of perfectly fall into place. Damien Chazelle behind the camera is exceptional. He's paying like such a fun tribute to like older Hollywood filmmaking with like his use of like really vibrant colors. It's very like The Young Girls of Rochefort, which another great musical I think you guys should check out. And then there's like very like Pulp Fiction-y like production designs, but then you have like Justin Hurwitz's score, which is phenomenal. Emma and Ryan just going back and forth is just fantastic. Start a Fire with John Legend absolutely bangs. Like every scene you're just rips. I think it was like my third played song of last year on Spotify.
Damn, still good for you.
Yeah, I still listen to that song quite often. But yeah, just like everything is just falling into place, and it's so beautiful. The choreography is fantastic. The story is so intriguing. This love story that Damien Chazelle is just taking such great care of these characters. And then obviously the ending, not enough we can say about the ending. It's one of the great endings in Hollywood history. It's so heartbreaking, but it's so beautiful at the same time. That entire final like montage, like what could have been, is just, it's devastating, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, just an incredible movie. The perfect right, or what is it? Right place, wrong time, or whatever it is. Just the perfect telling of that, and fantastic. Moving on to the big discussion of our week was Song to Song. Terrence Malick directed. Definitely a polarizing movie. I really love Song to Song. It's a emotional and raw look into just life itself. Through basically these four characters' lenses: Ryan Gosling, Michael Fassbender, Rooney Mara, and Natalie Portman. Terrence Malick has a very interesting way of storytelling. It's not for everyone. Knight of Cups, I still think sucks. I know, George, you do too. But Song to Song, I don't know what it was. I just think it really hit. I really, really loved it. I think Seth really likes it. Tyler really likes it. And George is a little lower. But I really do think it's just that Terrence Malick has such a polarizing way of directing a movie and putting a movie together, like through these different stories and combining them all. But just a really brutal and raw look into life, and I think it was masterfully done. Whoever wants to,
do you want to start with positive reviews, or you want to start?
Let's
with
go positive, Tyler, or we'll go Seth. Just I feel like I haven't heard Seth's luscious voice in a second, so we'll go Seth.
Yeah, I really like it. It's not my favorite, like Malik, by any means, but I definitely really like it. I think it's like you said, kind of it's almost like watching a documentary, just learning about the human experience and going through and watching these people's lives, kind of their distinct ways of the works and the relationships. I think the cast is fantastic, really do great. It's interesting as well because I think like it shows the pull that Malik has with that as a filmmaker, because this wasn't exactly, it still isn't. I mean, it's got 60,000 logs on Letterboxd. It's not exactly a huge, name film by any means, but he manages to pull fantastic casts in. I think it's similar with Night of Course, Just Not Seen. I think it's really, really great. I think it's really great. I think the editing style, kind of the inner monologue of sorrow, of love. I think it earns every kind of big moment, especially within the final third. 4 out of 5 for me. Really good.
Yeah. Tyler, you liked it a lot.
Yeah, huge fan. It's definitely, technically Tree of Life would be my favorite Malik right now, but I think Song to Song is going to be the most rewatchable. I'm going to rewatch it, and it'll probably has a very strong chance of moving up to 5-star. I just connected with this film a ton. Like I'm obviously a huge fan of Texas and living in Texas. Ever since I moved to Arizona from Texas, I've just been thinking about moving back to Texas. We're planning on moving to Austin, Texas here soon, and that's where this film is located. And he uses the setting really well, and you get to see, so many parts of the city, so many parts of like the nature around the city, which I recognize all those places. They go to a Texas Longhorns game. That's where you get like the Natalie Portman picture of her at a Texas Longhorns game. All
time picture I've seen a ton online. Never knew where it came from. Now I do.
Which is weird because like the picture that circulates online is them in like the front row of the game. So I don't know if after filming they just got to go down there, because like the whole like filming sequence is like in like a suite, like up top, like in a box. So they're never like so I wonder if after they filmed, they just like went down there and just said, we're like, we're going to hang out. I mean, obviously Fassbender and Portman are going to get access anywhere, but always thought like to expect to see that part in the movie, but no, they're just up in a suite the whole time. But yeah, I mean, Seth talked about the cast. You have Ryan Gosling, Michael Fassbender, Natalie Portman, Rooney Mara, Cate Blanchett, and even some of the more other supporting characters as well. Like this is just like the gravitational pull that Malik has with these actors is incredible. And Emmanuel
Bale was actually meant to be in it, I think, as well, originally, and then didn't get it.
It came out right around the same time as like Night of Cups, or a couple of years after, so makes sense. But Emmanuel Lubezki shot it. So like it's interesting because so much of this movie almost feels like a daily vlog where you're just like riding along with them on the back of a motorcycle. Almost feels like someone's filming it, like they're trying to film their lives. Like this movie's so intimate, which is just so fascinating to see. That's why like Lubezki's such a genius, because you look at some of the shots are gorgeous and stunning and masterful, and then some of them you feel like are just like literally like almost like a YouTube video you're watching. But this is a guy who was a cinematographer for Birdman, The Revenant, Gravity, Y Tu Mama Tambien, Ali, Children of Men, like a god mode cinematographer. And you just see such a range of different types of shots in this film. And yeah, I just really intimately connected with this. Like Austin's is a very special place to me, and it'll continue to be a special place to me. And seeing how well they use the setting in this movie was so great. And beyond that, the narrative, it had me locked in, which is like Night of Cups. That's just what failed to lock me in, was the narrative, even though I appreciate a lot of stuff about it. Whereas this, you have Ryan Gosling is kind of like working alongside Fassbender, who's like this big rock star and kind of screws over everyone in his life. He gets tempted by all these different women, and you see him go from relationship to relationship, where all these women kind of go through the same tropes with him in terms of like getting obsessed with the lifestyle and then kind of having it sucked out of them based on just Fassbender not being really the guy for them. But yeah, Song to Song, I don't know, just an all-time vibes movie. I was so locked in. Just the range of like I said, it felt so invasive. Like I felt like we were seeing so many things we weren't supposed to see. Felt so personal and intimate in these people's lives. And I think it just really helps having all these stellar actors and actresses that's very easy to gravitate towards. But yeah, all-time movie for me, just personally, just because of how much I love Austin, Texas. And it's just easy to connect with a movie that's in a place that's like near and dear to you. And like, I know George obviously feels that a lot with New York City. And it's just like a whole different, like, I feel like New York City and LA are done in so many movies. So like seeing one in a place you connect with that like isn't usually often shown in film, other than like Richard Linklater. Like everything about him is like in Texas, but other than that, like Terrence Malick, I think he just uses the setting so well. And I really was just Leo DiCaprio snapping at the screen, like you guys were saying about another one of the films we were just talking about. But yeah, just everywhere they were going and frequenting with obviously Austin City Limits and all these different stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, I love this place and I love these people. And this narrative just it had me enthralled. There's nothing really else I can say. It's a 4.5 for me. Like I said, even though Tree of Life is higher for me for Terrence Malick, this will probably be the most rewatchable just because of how much it connected with the setting, the story, the narrative, and that just all-time vibes. Very surprised and happy to see Cam loved it. But yeah, I guess we'll hear George's thoughts now.
Yeah, it's not. No, I texted you guys. This isn't like a movie I'm going to care to like absolutely shred into. At the end of the day,
should we fight again?
I don't want to fight again. I'm not in the mood to fight. We can if you want.
No. I love you.
But no, I love you too. It just comes down to Terrence Malick. I really don't love like his style of filmmaking. I don't love that it's like it literally just feels like we're following these people in their day-to-day lives. I think it just makes the movies look really like, and I know I'm gonna get flack for this, but it makes the movies look very like amateur and very like lazy. Like it looks like anyone can just pick up their iPhone and just start recording random people day to day. And that's what like the vibes I get from Terrence Malick's films. But like it's weird because like in Tree of Life, like again, I don't love his style of filmmaking in Tree of Life, but like Tree of Life's narrative like impacted me on a personal level, which is why that movie just like hit really close to home. It really resonated well with me. That's why I give it such a high rating as a 4.5 out of 5. Whereas like Song to Song is just like I didn't find myself caring about this narrative that much. I didn't really care about this music industry that we're kind of following, these shitty people just trying to work their way through life and trying to climb this ladder. It didn't impact me. It didn't really feel worthwhile. There were some really cool shots. I will give this movie that. And a lot of the shot selections are the reasons why I rate this movie as highly as I do at a 2.5. Because like, I don't know, I still fall back on like Knight of Cups, where I truly think that was like one of the most just devastating and pitiful like movie experiences of my life.
Yeah, I don't.
But like, yeah, but like this one, like I didn't think that at all. I think this one had a much more like cohesive narrative that was like a little easier to follow along. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's Terrence Malick for me. I don't love his style of filmmaking. It's not for me. I'm trying, obviously, and it's weird because like I don't even like dislike Terrence Malick. Loved Tree of Life. I think Thin Red Line is great. I think Badlands is just fine. I think Song to Song is fine, and I really hate Knight of Cups. So like, it's not like I actively dislike this man. I think his just style of filmmaking is not something I'm necessarily attracted to.
Yep.
I mean, it's very obvious. It's the one you're never going to be like, how could you think that? Like, it's so obvious watching any Malick film, like why people would be turned off to. Like, it's not like one that's like a crazy to me to understand why people wouldn't love it. But yeah, I don't know. It just works for some, doesn't work for others. But definitely not one that I would be shocked by someone watching it and being like, this just did not work for me. Because, it's very different style of filmmaking that Malick has obviously nailed to a T at this point. It's very much his style. But yeah, I don't know. Works for some, doesn't work for others. Definitely works for me.
Yep. Moving on, Blade Runner 2049. I'm not going to drain it too much because I'll talk about it later in the rankings. But I love this movie. Ryan Gosling's literally me. Ana de Armas is great.
Good film.
Seth, thoughts? Good film. George, thoughts?
A phenomenal film. I'd go as far as saying one of the better legacy sequels out there. Shout out Denis, one of the goats. I mean, come on, Kubrick wishes.
Mm-hmm. Real. Tyler, thoughts? I know you're lower.
Yeah, this is also one that I purchased on Amazon Prime, so I have it in my back pocket to rewatch. But yeah, it didn't really connect the first time I watched it. But still, like it's one of the most gorgeous looking films for sure. Like, I mean, Roger Deakins goes God mode here. But yeah, we kind of touched on it in our Denis Villeneuve ranking probably 2-ish months ago, a little more right before Dune Part 2.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, Blade Runner 2049. Not my favorite, but I'll give it a rewatch. I still prefer the first one, but I've seen the first one twice now, and I've only seen 2049 once, so I'll give it a rewatch and see what I think.
Yeah, Jared Leto's best role ever. Did I do something?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream.
Oh yeah. Always
Oh,
forget.
Dallas
Sorry,
Buyers.
buddy.
Oh, Suicide Squad. Forgot about that.
Oh,
Zack Snyder's Justice
yeah.
League.
Zack,
That's
Zack
yeah,
Snyder's
I
Justice
gotta
League.
say Zack Snyder's Justice
We live in
League.
a society.
Yeah.
And then moving on, a movie I really liked, but we need to talk about the Purdue erasure in this movie. First Man, another Damien Chazelle, Justin Hurwitz production with starring Ryan Gosling. This is a lot of people. Babylon was like kind of his big swing, but this is Damien Chazelle kind of first time getting like big money for a movie, like go make a big sci-fi epic kind of thing. And First Man, I think he does a good job with it. Definitely drops off a little bit from La La Land and Whiplash, in my opinion. But I liked First Man. I watched it for the first time last night. I'm not even kidding about like I expected a little bit of Purdue in here. This is all we got. This is all we have. We have fucking
What, did
Neil Armstrong
go there or something?
Yeah, Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Yes, that's like our only famous alumni outside of like Drew Brees. We have astronauts. Damn it, give us the respect. That's all we've got. But yeah, Neil Armstrong biopic, done really well in my opinion. Not my favorite Damien Chazelle, but we'll talk more about that. And then I just want to say shout out me. Neil Armstrong landed on the moon on July 20th. Like first step, July 20th. My birthday's July 20th. Didn't know that until last night. Probably
So you're
should
born
know.
when we landed on the moon? Old as fuck.
Right. Real. Not the year, but yeah, real. I like First Man though. George, I know you rated it about as high as myself, and then I think Seth and Tyler are a little lower. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really like First Man. I really do think if we were, and I'll say it again, if we were to rank this based on like Ryan Gosling's performances, I think First Man would be my number one. I'm so attracted to him when he's like just way more personal and way more like intimate. And this movie gives me a lot of, other way around since Ad Astra actually came out after this movie, but they're very similar in execution where it's like a very personal and like intimate look at something that is so grand in scale. And I really love both of those central performances. I'll shout out Brad Pitt for Ad Astra. But Ryan Gosling in this movie is so vulnerable. He's so devastatingly personal. I think it's just a phenomenal work of acting. And then, it's not Chazelle's, it's not top tier Chazelle, but I don't think that's a knock to the movie. I think that's a compliment to Chazelle's greatness because Whiplash and La La Land obviously being just in my mind two of the greatest ever, and then Babylon. Tyler obviously thinks it's a 5 out of 5. It's a 4.5 out of 5 for me, so I hold it very highly. But I love it. I love this historical drama look. I love that it kind of plays out as like this subtle psychological thriller. I think that makes for just very intriguing storytelling. I think filmmakers could get very lazy when it comes to like a Neil Armstrong and his journey. But I think Damien Chazelle proved to be just the perfect man to tell his story properly in a way that'll resonate with its audience. And it certainly resonated with me. I texted you guys the fucking score. Good. I've been listening to it for the last couple of days. Dude, incredible score. I've been listening to it for the last couple of days, and like I'm so prepared to tell La La Land to go fuck itself. And I think this movie has the better score.
Wow.
It's such a good dude. Every time that
I like that.
It's levitating, dude. It's so good. But
Neil
I really like
the theme.
Dude, it's so good.
Their version of me and Sebastian.
We'll get into it with our rankings, but you'll see this one lands pretty highly for me. I really like this movie a lot. And if you haven't seen Ad Astra, watch Ad Astra.
Seth?
Yeah, I liked it. I watched it first time this week. Kind of conveys the horrors of early space travel really well.
Yeah.
Like there's some huge spectacles in this, and to echo what George said, I think this score amazing, really, really great. I do think it kind of struggles to balance the kind of his relationship with obviously the grief and his partner played by Claire Foy. That's Claire Foy, yeah.
So good, by the way, the two of them.
Yeah, she's great, yeah. And kind of going back and forth as smoothly as I'd like. But I think it's a good film. I think the ending is great. I really liked it. I think there's huge spectacles there, and to kind of say what Cam said, like there's got to be some good money in this, surely, because some of the sequences were like it was a spectacle.
I'll check
definitely.
the production.
The test, like the test crash or whatever. Like
yeah, the test crash sequence was great. Really, really great. And I do think Gosling.
Only
I'm not sure.
60 million.
That's quite.
Wow.
It's actually lower than I anticipated, and honestly, that's pretty impressive. To be fair,
Babylon's was 80. Wow.
I mean, I think that makes sense. It's not like this massive scale, like science fiction.
A lot of the shots too are within the cockpit, almost like rather than like a space movie where you're seeing like the takeoff and like obviously you see all of that, but it's from a more intimate like look at it rather than this grandiose scale like look.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I still thought it'd have I thought it'd be his highest budget, to be honest with you.
No, I thought Babylon would be just because of how big it is. You know what I mean? How much
the cast and how many set pieces they had to build for that, like practice.
Yeah.
But I really liked First Man. I need to rewatch it though. I haven't seen it since I initially saw it for the first time when I was completing Chazelle's filmography a while back now. But I think so many space exploration films like the Apollo 13s and any mission like that, the only family dynamic they really ever have is like, oh no, my husband's going on a scary mission and the kids being like, oh dad, where are you going? And it's basically just like there's like one scene where they're like, you know, guys, love you, bye. And then there's like maybe another scene they'll show later when something's going wrong up there where it shows the family like watching the TV really grippingly. Like I feel like they kind of just throw it in to be like, yeah, the family's impacted by this. But I feel like First Man really tackles that a little better and really gets to, with the Claire Foy especially, the relationship I think is handled really well. Score's great, like you said. Some very impressive visual sequences as well. And yeah, there's the cast as well. Like Kyle Chandler's kind of also like an all-time like guy just shows up in movies.
Dude, Shea Wiggum's in this. Tyler.
I was just gonna say it has the ultimate guy who shows up in movies. Is Shea Wiggum. Showing up in this movie, but Jason Clarke's in it, and he's a lot nicer than he is in Oppenheimer. So good to see.
I swear to God, every time Jason Clarke shows up in a movie, I'm like, this boy's up to something. He's not up to anything in this one, but I don't trust Jason Clarke.
I know he's just.
I don't know what it is
about him. Yeah, you just don't trust him. Like even in Everest, where I think he like plays like the guide, like leading them up there. The whole time I was like, is he about to like throw all these people off the mountain? Like I'm just like something about him. I'm like, this dude's about to cause some chaos. Yeah.
He's a good dude in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. He plays a good dude in that movie.
I still don't trust him.
He's an untrustworthy looking guy. Some spelling Clark with an E at the end, that's just where you know there's something to not trust there. Like, why are you throwing in that excessive letter? But First Man's awesome. Cool. Need to rewatch it. It's like my fourth ranked Chazelle, but again, I think George said it. It's not really a discredit the movie, more just a credit to Chazelle.
It's crazy. Like the idea, like it's crazy to see this look just from way like far in the future, right? Sorry, it's just crazy. Like thinking about the only reason Neil Armstrong and this group of people, Buzz Aldrin and co, which by the way, you only ever remember Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. Who the fuck cares about the other people? Sorry to them. I'm sure they're great people. You only really like the only reason them 4, 3, whatever it was, I'm already blanking, were selected is basically because like they were the ones that like survived like the testing and everything. Like Jason Clarke's character dies. I can't even remember all the actors in this now, and I got to go look. But a lot of people die in this. Patrick Fugit, it was a main character who dies in this. And it's just kind of crazy to think like that, like this, we're like taking all these lives just to get to the moon. I'm officially like, after watching this as well, I'm anti going to the moon just because I looked it up last night and it's like, oh, it gave us the ability to technologically advance in things. We would have technologically advanced in other things if we didn't go to the moon. Like, I don't understand the space race. I don't get it. It was just a pissing contest. It was just US being like, we got to get up there before Russia. Didn't earn us anything. Didn't get a shit. I don't get the moon landing.
And they just kept moving the goalpost too, because it was like, first to space wins, Russia wins. First living thing in space wins, Russia wins with the monkey. Mm-hmm. Okay, first person in space wins, Russia wins. First person in space on the moon wins. Fuck yeah, we got the win. Call it, game over, stop the count.
Yeah, we're not going any further. I don't get it. No one's trying to live on the moon. I don't get this. I don't get the race to the moon, but good movie nonetheless. And Ryan Gosling is just fucking fantastic in it. But yeah, where's my Purdue? Where's my Purdue? Shout out! Come on, Damien, give some
Just give him,
respect.
just give him one scene of him in college. Like at a
They didn't give anything in college. I thought I'd get a flashback to him in class or something. Nothing.
Even if they had to make up this campus, like even if it was a set, they didn't even go to West Lafayette.
West Lafayette, Indiana, baby. That's all we have, Damien.
Because as me, as a Wisconsin guy, I'm in.
You
we're
get
movies
in
all the
fucking
time.
Zack Snyder's Justice League,
You get
man.
in draft day. They're on
Draft
Wisconsin
day,
campus the whole time too. Which yeah, speaking of draft day, I was gonna say this about La La Land. The first guy she's like dating when she leaves him to go for Ryan Gosling was Bo Callahan from Draft Day, the quarterback who had no one come to his birthday party. So fun little fact. Draft Day, shout out that movie. All-time terrible movie.
All-time awful. Moving on to what could be Ryan Gosling's worst movie of all time, The Gray Man, directed by Mr. and Mrs. Russo brothers. That was just like a them being married joke. But the Russo brothers direct The Gray Man.
Wouldn't it just be Mr. and Mrs. Russo?
No, it's Mr. and Mrs. Russo brothers because that's their name.
Fair enough.
No, the Gray Man is I actually don't hate it. But I don't hate it when I watched it. I have not thought about this movie once since. I think I have it like a 50 out of 100. I
watched it this week.
Yeah, that's brutal. I watched it when it came out and I was like, that sucks. It's a bad movie, or that's like not good, and never thought about it once. But Seth, you watched it most recent.
Shit, it's
yeah.
It's really. Do you know what the worst thing is about this is? This was like one of Netflix's most expensive productions, wasn't it? I think it was like 200
and
million.
It's like one of its most watched.
It's so
which makes sense though because it's Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling.
It makes sense.
Makes sense. It's just not.
It's so ugly. Like the set pieces are awful. I think the script is terrible. I think that Ryan Gosling's actually okay, but he's usually okay anyway, so that's pretty good. Dull action sequences, overloaded, and just stupid exposition no one cares about. And I won't spoil where it is, but you can probably guess where it is on my ranking anyway. It's not.
Tyler, can you guess who's in this movie?
Ana de Armas is in it. Chris Evans is in it.
No. But can you guess who's in this movie?
Shea Wiggum.
Shea Wiggum is in this movie, apparently. I did not remember that until I'm looking at the cast right now. That dude's in everything.
That's crazy.
He is the movies.
I was talking about this with, I think in the group chat we were talking about a bit. Is The Gray Man's such an odd one going through his filmography now, and as we've gone through chronologically, because there's obviously a few that we haven't seen, and they're pretty early on, and even some of them still are like, seem like average ratings, whereas this is clearly just such a bad departure from his normal movies. So it's like, it clearly doesn't seem like a guy who needs money. Him and Eva Mendes together, like, sure are probably over 100 million combined. So it's just interesting. Like, it was the bag so irresistible, or was it? I know The Gray Man is like a massive book novel series, like with tons of entries. So maybe he was just a big fan of that and was like hoping the production would turn into like a big franchise, and he was excited because he was a fan of the books. Just really odd that he was in this. Like, I mean, I guess sometimes the bag is just that irresistible, but very odd film. Ana de Armas is kind of just like there, and yeah, I don't know. I know, like I said, I think they're pretty beloved books, but not great. And like I said, I think there's like a lot of books too, and I think they're hoping that this is going to become like, every streaming service is looking for their own version of like a franchise. Netflix tried it with The Gray Man. They're trying it with Rebel Moon. Seems like kind of swing and misses right now because I just kind of are just so bland. But yeah, I mean,
he was paid.
The Gray Man
was paid $20 million for The Gray Man.
Shit. Was he in a TV show at any point? Like, why was he not in a film for like 4 years? I didn't realize there was such a gap.
Yeah, I was about to mention that too. 2018 to 2022.
Yeah,
nothing during that time.
That's crazy. Yeah,
era as well. I don't know. It's quite confusing.
I mean, to be fair, like he did. Like I know, like so. Let's see. From The Big Short to First Man was 2015 to 2018. So what is that? 6 movies in 3 years, and he had a kid in 2014 and 2016. And I know like his big like La La Land speech was about like how he got to go work and Eva stayed home with his kids and stuff. And so I'm guessing he took a bit of a break for them. And now they're old enough, probably, 4 or 5 years old, however old they may be. They can come on the Gray Man set and stuff. Yeah. But
to answer your question though, he was in TV shows, but from 1995 to 1999, like that's where he started was TV. But a lot of them are just like, Well, Breaker High and Young Hercules were his big shows, but then he has like 10 other shows where he's in it for one episode. So probably a very minor role, but looks like Breaker High, which I'm not familiar with, and Young Hercules are like Gosling, probably what got him into Hollywood in terms of being able to get a role like Remember the Titans.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, The Gray Man's bad. Tyler, I put this in just because I saw The Chase for Carrera. It's a short film.
Yeah, it's like a overly cinematic commercial for Tag. I don't even know how to pronounce Tag Heuer, watch company, and it's basically David Leitch directs it, and he's also like playing the director of the commercial, and it's just like similar to the Fall Guy, where it's a movie within a movie. Is like a commercial or like directing a commercial within a commercial, and basically it's like he loves the watch, and like they keep trying to get it. Like he finishes the commercial, like all right, give us the watch back. He's like just goes on a car chase, run away. Like it's just overly action, high budget watch commercial.
Sure. Then next, the biggest movie of last year, Barbie, biggest box office wise. Oh, by the way, Shea Wiggum, apparently Gwen Stacy's dad. No, not in Barbie. Gwen Stacy's dad in Across the Spider-Verse, though. And like seeing that on the filmography, I was like, who the fuck is he? Where's this guy? This guy's agent is crazy. So good for him. But yeah, biggest movie of last year probably be Barbie. Ryan Gosling obviously playing Ken, Margot Robbie as Barbie. I love this movie still. I think it's very, very fun. Just good watch. Good vibes for like 99% of the movie. Obviously some emotion in there. Ryan Gosling nominated for Ken. I think it's an Oscar-worthy performance. Like I don't think he should have won by any means, but I am shocked though. This is like one of the movies he gets nominated for. I feel like when we talk a lot of these movies he's been in, probably should have not had a nomination for those as well. Mm-hmm. But I love him a lot in this, and I like the movie a lot. It's funny to me. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but
if I had to guess, it was ReelTok episode 50. I feel like
we've talked Barbie plenty. We probably don't have to go into it too much. Yeah, Barbenheimer, craziest thing of last year. And then the Fall Guy also we just talked. So we can okay. A couple upcoming projects. There's only 2 that are confirmed. He's doing an Ocean's 11 prequel with Margot Robbie. Hell yeah. I'm in. He's playing Danny Ocean's dad, and Margot Robbie is Danny Ocean's mom, I believe. If they make it a good heist, I am so in for that movie, and it'll probably be my favorite of whatever year it comes out. And then Hail Mary, based on a book directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who are most famous for like the Jump Streets, Across the Spider-Verses, bunch of things like that. But I'm excited for it. I think we talked it when it got announced. That was a pretty recent announcement. Yeah, but I'm excited for the projects. Anything Ryan Gosling's in, I'm all for. Let's move on to his filmography ranking, and we kind of went into a lot with those deep dives. So we'll go George, Tyler, Seth, myself.
How are we doing this?
We'll do whatever number through 5, and then after that, yeah, because we're at 2.5 or 2 hours and 18 minutes already. We'll go through 5, and then we'll start alternating after that.
Okay.
All right. I got 16. So at 16, I have The Gray Man at a 2.5 out of 5. Then I have at 15, Song to Song at a 2.5 out of 5. Then we got The Notebook at 14. Don't even have it rated just because I haven't seen it in a while, but I'll put it at 14. The Fall Guy at a 3 out of 5 is at number 13. And then also at a 3 out of 5 at number 12 is Only God Forgives. Then at number 11, we go into our 3.5. So I got Blue Valentine. Top 10, Remember the Titans at a 4-star. Number 9, Crazy Stupid Love at a 4-star. Number 8, Barbie at a 4-star. Number 7, The Place Beyond the Pines at a 4-star. And number 6, Drive at a 4-star.
Awesome. I don't have any hate for that list yet. We'll see if any hate comes soon.
I have hate for.
That's fair. Understand,
Tyler.
Okay, 19, The Gray Man at a 1-star.
Boo! How could you?
18, The Fall Guy at 2.5 stars. Then 17 is The Notebook, also 2.5 stars. And then 16, we have the Ides of March at 3-star. Barbie and 15 at 3-star. Remember the Titans at 14 at 3.5 star. Only God Forgives, 3.5 stars at 13. Number 12, sorry Cam, The Big Short at 3.5
Yeah, you
stars.
should die.
Boo.
Just,
You ever thought of being right next time? Maybe try that.
just trying to keep it real. Number 11, Half Nelson, 3.5 star. 10, First Man, 3.5 star. 9, The Place Beyond the Pines, 4 star. 8, The Nice Guys, 4 star. 7, Crazy Stupid Love, 4 star. 6, Blade Runner 2049, 4 star.
Nice. Seth?
I have The Grey Man at 18. So obviously an 18 at 1.5 star. Gangster Squad at 17 at a 2, I think. Notebook at 16 at a 2.5. Fall Guy at 15 at a 2.5. Fracture at 14 at a 3. Barbie at 13 at a 3. Only God Forgives at 12 at a 3. The Big Short, sorry Cam, at 11 at no stars. I haven't watched it in a couple of years. So I'm gonna guess it's right anyway.
You should try using our
Right.
heads a little more, everyone.
Okay, you switched up. Remember the Titans at 11 at a 3.5 star. First Man at 10 at a 3.5 star. Place Beyond the Pines at 9 at a 3.5 star. Drive at 7 at a 3.5 star. And La La Land at 6 at a 3.5 star. Sorry, Cam.
Heartbreaking
Well,
stuff. Heartbreaking stuff.
Terrible
Enjoy.
stuff.
I mean, it's just wrong. And then myself, the correct rankings, and I already know one that'll make people mad, but we'll start off, switch it up a little bit. 17, Gangster Squad. It's my lowest. 2 out of 5. The Gray Man at 2.5. At 16, number 15 is Half Nelson, a 3 out of 5. Number 14, the Ides of March, a 3.5 out of 5. Number 13, this will make you mad. Lars and the Real Girl, a 3.5
Wrong.
star.
Crazy.
Number 12, The Fall Guy, a 3.5 star. And then top 11 are all 4 stars and higher. First Man being in 11th, 4 out of 5. Barbie being 10th, 4 out of 5. Blue Valentine being 9th, 4 out of 5. Crazy Stupid Love, 8. And then into the 4.5 out of 5s, we have Song to Song at 7. At 6, Drive, 4.5. At 5, Remember the Titans, a 4.5.
Chill on me.
Oh,
chill
my
on
bad,
me.
my
chill
bad,
on
my
me.
bad. Oh,
Chill
my
on
fault,
me.
my fault. Oh my God! Oh, boo, boo, boo! All right, my number 5 is Remember the Titans, a 91 out of 100.
Way too high for that, by the way.
Great sports movie. Great sports movie. Big fan of Remember the Titans always.
We're just going to
We'll go back to George then.
Yeah, my number 5. I'm on your side here, Cam. I got The Big Short. Just fantastic film. Phenomenal.
Woo.
4 stars.
Woo.
The mid short.
Am I going to 1 or are we going around?
No. Sorry, Tyler.
Tyler.
Okay.
Oh, it's me? 5 is Blue Valentine at a 4 star.
Wow. Seth?
5 is The Nice Guys at a 3.5 stars.
Wow.
So
I guess I'll take it. It's still too low.
It's
You should
still
make it a
5.
5 instead. You should
But
make
it's
it a
still
5
5.
instead, but I'll take it.
Okay.
And then my 5 was Remember the Titans, as I spoiled.
Say your
sorry.
4.
No, we'll go back to George.
Now we're at 4. I got at a 4.5 star. I got First Man.
Lazarus. I like it.
4 for me
Fantastic.
is Lars and the Real Girl, 4.5 star.
Yeah. Seth?
4 for me is Crazy Stupid Love. That's a 4 star. I didn't think it was that
like
high. Great film.
No,
Great
I
film.
like it. I like it a lot. My number 4, getting into my 5 out of 5s and 96 out of 100. The Nice Guys, of course. It's just the most glorious movie ever. I love it dearly. George?
Yeah,
Onto
just
your-
right off
onto your
of you.
3.
My number 3 is The Nice Guys. Just maybe the best buddy comedy out there since like Rush Hour. It's just fucking awesome.
Tyler?
3 Song to Song and 4.5 star.
3 Song to Song for 4 star.
Wow. That's a nice tie. Good stuff. A
So
3?
hot.
A 3, gonna shake it up a little bit. At a 5 star is La La Land, 98 out of 100. I love it dearly.
Should we just do 2 and 1 at the same time?
Yeah, might as well.
So I'm pretty sure me and Cam are just flipped. My number 2 is Blade Runner 2049, and my number 1 is La La Land.
We're not flipped. I still haven't named one.
Mhm.
My obvious one.
Yeah.
What?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, duh. I'm stupid. Forget that.
My number 2 is Drive at 4.5 star, and 1 is La La Land at 5 star. Obviously,
I don't know. My number 2 is Blade Runner 2049.
Yay!
That's a 4 star, and then my number 1 is Lars and the Real Girl. Also, that's a 4 star.
nice.
You only have 4 stars for Ryan.
I said this. There's not one
You
that
need
I've
to not hurt my
loved yet.
feelings.
There's not one that I've loved yet.
That breaks my heart so much. Okay, continue. Or Tyler, I should say.
No, it's you.
You
Oh,
continue.
sorry. I missed Tyler's then. My bad. I know what your top 2 are, but I missed it. My number 2 being The Big Short, 98 out of 100 as well. Again, it's just a movie for me. And then Blade Runner 2049, my number 1, 99 out of 100. I need to rewatch both of those just because I love them very much and just want to give them another watch. But good Ryan Gosling breakdown. I think we went into that real well. Good job. I think we all had 16. I had 17, Tyler 18, Seth 19. Or
18.
maybe I flipped those. 18 Seth, 19 Tyler. So good work grinding through some Ryan Gosling this week. I actually saw a couple people like Stefan Johnson.
Yeah.
Like I saw him I have him on Letterboxd. I saw he was watching some
I
Ryan
announced
Gosling's this week.
Discord, so a lot of them were following along, I think.
Good.
As well.
So yeah, good work. And if there are any Ryan Gosling movies we haven't seen that someone like really recommends that we didn't dive into, please let us know. Moving on, couple small news and trailers this week, but the big one being early pod, Megalopolis dropped. Did you guys watch it?
It looks
beautiful. It looks awesome. That's kind of all I have for it. Just because
I mean, it's just one like 2-minute shot. It's very much a first look, but yeah, it looks like a gorgeous digital film. Looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
very Attack of the Clones vibes in a positive way.
Yeah, there was a picture of Revenge of the Sith going around, and people were replying to it as if it was Megalopolis. I was starting to fall out of the joke because I didn't know if they were like I knew the original joke was like first look at Megalopolis and it was Revenge of the Sith, but then I saw a lot of replies to that were like going along with it to the point that I was like, do we know this is Revenge of the Sith or do we actually think it's Megalopolis? Because I couldn't tell. Like Owen replied to it and it was like George Lucas is the blueprint. I'm like, but this isn't Megalopolis, so I didn't really get the joke. But yes, it is very
digital
Attack of the Clones, digital Revenge of the Sith looking. But then The Boys season 4 had a trailer. George and I believe, are the only ones that have watched The Boys.
I've seen The Boys.
You seen The Boys, Seth?
I've seen one episode of The Boys.
Oh, okay. I was going to say all the way
through. Which was good. So maybe eventually.
It's a very good show. It's just you have the main antagonist and the main protagonist, and we've been doing this for 3 seasons now, and they're both great. They're both really great, but how long can we do this?
It seems like they're putting them out. I swear you guys only got the last season, like maybe last year or a year before. It seems like they're out a lot.
We got the last
2 years ago. I think like
2021.
Oh no, that was Gen. That was the spin-off.
Gen V.
Yeah,
we got this different show, but connected, but different like production.
I get what you're saying though. I feel like The Boys is always like
it's always in culture. People always
being talked about.
Boys. Yeah.
So someone who doesn't watch it feels like it's always going on to me.
Yeah.
It's a very good show. I don't know how long we can do Homelander versus Billy Butcher, and at the end of each season, they're like, "Well, next season I'm gonna get you." Because that's been 3 seasons now of next season I'm gonna get you. So I mean they're both great and it's like never bad. It's just how long can I watch this?
I agree with you on that. That was like my big criticism of season 3, where it's like, all right, I feel like we're just rinse and repeating the ending of each of these seasons, where it's like they have this big final showdown and nothing gets no one wins or loses. They just kind of like retreat and regroup and they'll run it back next season. But it still is a fantastic show.
Yeah. So maybe it's one of those shows. Every show I want to run for as long as possible, but this is one of those shows that I'm like, well, I want it to end before it's like season 8 and just to spoil it a little bit. Sorry. Like in season 3, Billy finds out he's going to die soon.
Yeah.
But like, are we going to go 4 more seasons just because we have such a hit show? We keep Carl Urban on this, or Carl Urban, Keith Urban's the artist.
Yeah.
We going to keep Carl Urban on this just because like he's the big pull to the show? I don't know. Like how quickly should you kill someone after teasing?
Do you
that
think he's that big of a pull though?
week?
Like if they killed him off this season, you think season 5's ratings are going to be that much lower? Because I feel like, if anything, like most people watch the really.
Yeah. I thought Homelander was the biggest pull.
Yeah,
Homelander's the bigger pull.
Homelander's
the bigger pull. Anthony Starr is the bigger pull.
Yeah,
I do think it would get less views if Carl Urban left. I do. I think people like Billy Butcher a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I love Billy Butcher as well, but like I feel like the entire like the boys, like the actual like gang of dudes and dudettes, like I think there's enough like star power there and like charm that like I don't know if Carl Urban has that big of a pull where like ratings would drop that much. But I don't know. I could be completely wrong.
I mean, you might be right. I could be wrong as well. So we'll have to see if once they kill Billy Butcher off, I guess. Yeah, we'll wait and see. They're never going to, but we'll wait and see. And then so just very small news, but Paul Walter Hauser joins the Fantastic Four. Originally, I was like, he's very clearly the robot that they teased. I forget what Wall-E, maybe? No, that's the movie. Like the robot, I was like, no doubt he's that. But then they teased like the Mole Man might be in this movie, and he could very easily. Paul Walter Hauser do be playing a Mole Man, I feel like, in most things. So he could do that, but just fun casting news, I guess. The Maze Runner is getting a reboot. I have watched the second Maze Runner for some reason because I saw it on a date in high school, and I've never seen the first or third.
Riz goddamn.
Yeah, shout out me. Never
so
seen the first or
stupid that
third.
they're rebooting this. Like, so Hunger Games obviously came out with the movie last year, but it wasn't a reboot. It was like a prequel. So like Maze Runner, they're just already redoing.
Maze Runner? It's not old.
2012, I think, was in the first.
Wow. It's also like it's weird. Like they got a full trilogy out of it. It's not like they canceled it halfway through, you know. And now they're trying to reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got
Maze Runner.
Oh yeah,
Sports Trials might have got those mixed out of order.
Yeah, it's.
I know the production was kind of like hell on it because Dylan O'Brien in the second film, I think, got injured doing a stunt that like was very bad. And then like so it was like the first one came out, the next one came out, and then there's like a long gap where like everyone lost interest, and the third one came out. But like Divergent and Maze Runner were
get those mixed up.
They were so far second fiddle behind the Hunger Games. It's not even funny. That it's weird that the Maze Runner is getting reboot. It was Wes Ball who has the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes coming out, but I don't think he's going to be doing this. So,
I'm not pumped for this, but
I really like the first Maze Runner. Fun,
sure.
like when they're in the maze, but once they get out of that, and it's like a dystopian world where they're trying to tackle corruption. I'm like,
that's what the issue I feel with a lot of YA books and movies is like you have this awesome idea for the first, like even with the Hunger Games where. The second Hunger Games is the best in my opinion, but even with the Hunger Games where you're seeing the Hunger Games, that's awesome. And then the second one, they've like created a twist to get the another Hunger Games. You're like, that's awesome. And then the third, it's where's the Hunger Games? I want them all in arena, and I want them Hunger Gaming it out. You know,
put them back in a maze and Maze Runner, and then Divergent. I like the first Divergent's the worst of the three. Like the first Maze Runner and first Hunger Games are way better than the first Divergent, but it's still like you said, like the world is so interesting and fun. But then like once every YA franchise, like you said, they go to the point where it's like, okay, we got our concept done. Now they have to take down the system. And I'm always like, Hunger Games did it fine though. Like I don't think it was bad. It was like fine, but the other two I was like, didn't care for.
That's fair. Then Lily James and Dan Stevens to star in a Bumble founder biopic. And this is just such a like biopic era movie. Maybe it's a really interesting story. But I'd be shocked if it is. Lily James cannot do any wrong though.
Dan Stevens
is the guy, man.
Dan Stevens went from
Dan Stevens,
being cast in
if I'm not
nothing to being
mistaken,
cast in everything. He's gonna be in
Dan
3 or 4
Stevens
movies.
Just did Godzilla X Kong, right?
Yeah, he's in that. He's one with. Isn't he in the one with Hunter Schafer? Is it Long Legs?
So he just did wrong, is what I'm hearing.
Like, why?
Apparently, he was good in
Godzilla X Kong.
Oh, yeah.
No, he was not. Everyone says it. I do see it.
Have you seen The Guest? Have you seen The Guest?
The Guest is great.
Watch The Guest.
But Dan Stevens is about to become such a fascinating case study of a guy becoming such a cult following of him being in movies, people being fired up.
Quickly.
To within the year will be a guy everyone's like, this is a hack. get him out, like
Yeah,
get him a
he's
new
really
agent.
good though. Like he's actually like a really good actor.
He's
I wish
been
he'd
in
do better
2
stuff.
good movies, and that's The Guest and Eurovision.
No, but he's a good actor. I think he's
Way to
also
throw
in
in Eurovision.
Yeah,
there,
it's still
Tyler.
on that.
Hell yeah, exactly.
I liked Eurovision. Don't get me wrong, but way to throw it in.
He was great in
Um,
Eurovision though, like as that like Russian dude, like a lot of charisma.
All right, I like it. But
Lion of
yeah,
Love.
it's just one of those, like, we're getting a biopic for everything. Do we need one of the Bumble founder? Maybe, probably not. And then last bit of news, apparently The Rock sucks. Like, shows up 8 hours late to work. Isn't 8 hours a work day? Like, you didn't show up to the work. Like, yeah, apparently just The Rock is not great on set. And now it's very funny that, like, he came out with that statement talking about Rebecca Ferguson and how he wants to find out who the bad person on her set was, and it's probably him.
That's all-time
but-
PR move though. Like, when you're the
Yeah.
suspect, you start being like, I'm gonna go find the real person who did this.
I'm gonna kill whoever did this.
Yeah.
Me when I lie. Do we want to do the game? We're running long. Seth,
I
I
wanna
know we
do the
don't have
game.
you. Yeah. Okay. Do we have you, Seth, or are you gone?
I have to get to my appointment. So real talk.
That's
listeners,
fine. We can
Have a
do
good
George
game,
versus
fellas.
Tyler.
See you later.
Hi, Seth.
Bye, Seth.
Bye.
Less competition for the game now. I have only one opponent to beat.
Give me a
So
sec. I
tired,
gotta
then.
find. Okay, let's make a break here. Cut this, Tyler, if you're willing. Because I
50-50 if I'm gonna be willing or not.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
need to find. So for the first like 6 that I was putting in, I forgot to put the stars for what the actual score was.
Oh. I don't think that's not the end of the world if you don't have the stars. If you just have the review. but
Okay, that's
I'm not
fine.
even gonna pull up Ryan Gosling's filmography because I'm so as long as you're only pulling from movies that we've seen, like
For the most part, it's obviously movies we've seen. And then for
Mostly
the
the
most
big ones.
part, it's like his big ones. Yeah.
Okay.
I do need a couple seconds to rearrange them because I
Yep.
now am remembering that I like put them all right next to each other because I
Yeah,
take
watch
like
your-
2 or 3.
The thing is, my Ryan Gosling binge is done now. I think I'm going to try and finish his filmography just because, like, I don't have that much left to do. But I'm not like relieved to be done with it. I'm like kind of like it's like all of his film, like he's always good. Like there's never like a
Mhm.
moment where I'm like, man, I hate that. I mean, technically, if I'm going to finish his filmography, that means I'm going to have to watch the Gangster Squads of the world. So like I might start to get exhausted, but everything I've seen other than like The Gray Man, I've thoroughly like enjoyed my time with. So Ryan Gosling kind of is that guy. And he can do so much with just a facial expression, whether it's a smirk and Drive or crazy eyes and Ides of March. Ryan Gosling, he might be the greatest of all time. Might be the greatest actor to ever do it.
He is the greatest of all time. I need it to be known.
Yeah, can we talk about how crazy that Seth guy is for not having anything above a 4-star from Ryan Gosling?
That's insane. That's wild, man.
Crazy.
I hope Seth is listening to this part. That's wild, man.
Mhm.
Like, what's how the hell do you do that? All right, I think I got him shaken up enough.
How many rounds are there?
It's 20 again. We have 20.
Oh, sheesh. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll get like I think I did a banner last time of like keeping score of where we're at, so I'll do
Perfect.
that again.
Okay, sounds good.
And I'm not cutting any of this, so
All right, that's fine. All righty. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this game. We have the Guess the movie based off
hey,
its
copyright
Letterboxd
infringement trivia
review.
10. Throw the
Yeah.
flag.
Throw the flag. Guess the review based off. God damn it, Tyler. Guess the movie based off the review. Ryan Gosling edition. So all of these are obviously Ryan Gosling starring Ryan Gosling movies. But we'll get right into it. It's just a head-to-head competition. George versus Tyler. Tyler down there at the bottom left has the score for everyone listening. Here we go with number 1. Drum roll, please.
Remember the
Titans.
Titans?
Remember the
No,
Titans.
I'm gonna change where that is.
But
And
I think what
there
we should
is
do
a
is
Remember
we
the
each-
Titans movie.
I think we should each get one guess, and if we don't get it after one guess each, it's just you just tell the answer instead of just,
Agreed.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So we'll start off hopefully an easy one. I don't have the stars for this one. La La Landing.
First Man.
First Man.
Nice. First
Damn
Man.
it.
Yep. Good work, Tyler. First Man, La La Landing. Like I said, there's a lot of highly rated reviews that are just La La Land jokes in most reviews. Second one, this is a 3.5 out of 5. Why is this literally a very intense, high budget episode of The Office?
Ooh.
Big Short.
The Big Short. Good job.
Wow,
Tyler,
really?
crushed it. Yeah.
Shit.
So the only one I felt like could be The Office, even though I'm like, that's kind of a crazy.
I was like
review.
thinking Lars and the Real Girl, but I haven't seen Lars and the Real Girl. So
that would be a great guess though. That like low key could be an episode of The Office where like Dwight needs like
yeah.
All right. Number 3, Tyler up 2-0. Maybe Ryan Gosling's best performance ever.
Blade Runner 2049.
Is that right?
No. I would have told you if that was correct. I'm sorry.
So I'll get one. I mean, this could literally be
It could be anything.
10 movies. I'll say Blue Valentine.
No, I think you should have gone for like the bait and switch. It's like obviously not his best like performance, but it's
Barbie?
the nice guys. No, it's the nice guys.
Right.
Just a movie people love. So no points there. That was a hard one. That's the first one that I thought was like some of these you can kind of tell, some are just kind of random shit, you know. A 4.5 out of 5. Wait, so Chris Pine isn't in this movie? Kind of a clickbait title.
Oh, the place beyond the pines.
That one will give a
I
10.
heard-
You said like
I heard George first.
Okay,
but
that's fine.
I heard him start first, and then you guys kind of finished at the same time.
That one
so
was.
I don't know.
That one
I
I
don't
couldn't
know
even
the
tell
rule.
when you were like starting. I thought you were like saying that at first and be like, oh wait, Chris Pine. I thought you were like making a mistake. I was like, what?
No. I do make those a lot, but not that time. Okay. 4 out of 5. This is a quote. Hey guys, let's make a film so no one ever wants to get married ever.
Blue Valentine.
Yep, Blue Valentine. Good work, George. Yeah, that one. I'm
So
glad
no
you got
one
that one.
ever wants to get married ever.
Yeah.
As one of us is married and 2 of us are about to be married.
Hell yeah, go watch Blue Valentine. The 6th question, 2-2 battle here. Great battle. I don't know who the fuck I am anymore.
Blade Runner 2049.
Nice,
Yeah.
Tyler. Good work.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nah, that's a good one. Real. Could have been Drive too.
Could have been Drive. Number 7 wasn't given any stars. So I don't know if that counts as a 0 or if that counts as just like I don't know. But the review is this happened to my buddy Eric.
Drive.
No.
Lars
I
and the
have
Real Girl.
no idea.
Lars and the Real Girl.
Stop
Good
it.
work, Tyler. Yeah, good work, Tyler.
Jesus Christ. That's pitiful.
Yeah. This one is a 5 out of 5, if that gives you anything. It's Singing in the Pain.
Singing Barbie?
La La Land.
Yeah, La La Land. I thought that one was easy.
I thought it was
Singing
like a
in the
trick.
rain, singing in the pain.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
I thought it was
fun.
a trick question.
No. Tyler pulling away 5-2.
Yes,
Next up
poor
is a 3 out of 5. A 3 out of 5. The review is literally what the fuck are they talking about?
What?
Literally, what the fuck are they talking about?
I'm thinking song to song because that was pretty much my reaction to the movie, but I'm not going to lock that in. I'll lock it song to song.
No, not song. to
I have
song.
no idea what like weird dialogue would be, but I'll just say like
Yeah.
Ides of March.
No, it's The Big Short because it's like a complex thing to understand. Like 99% of those reviews are like, I don't know what the hell must be going
Fair.
on, but this is great. Yeah.
All right.
All right. This one, I don't have the stars. Jesus fucking Christ, Ryan Gosling, you are the greatest man to ever live. I fucking worship you.
This could be like
That's
anything.
gotta be Barbie.
No.
Are you serious?
That's gotta be. I'm kidding. I have no confidence. Fuck. I don't know. Crazy Stupid Love.
No, it's the nice guys again.
Oh my god!
Just people worshiping Ryan Gosling is always the nice guys, everyone.
He literally is cooler than Crazy Stupid Love.
No, he's the best in the nice guys. All right. Number 11, fucked up if true.
Lars and the Real Girl. Come on.
That's what I was gonna say too. Fuck.
Are you serious?
I kind of hope this is the answer. I don't think it is, but I hope it's The Big Short.
Well, now I think it's Only God Forgives.
No, I think it's
What?
like two of his bigger movies. I thought you had a 50-50 of true story. It's First Man. That's First
Yep.
Man. Yeah,
That's kind of what I was going for with like the Big Short. Like, just be
The
funny,
Big Short.
poke
Yeah,
fun
no,
at the-
totally.
Yeah.
I like the guess.
That makes
I
sense.
thought
with
one
the
of you would
fake
maybe guess
man,
The Big
yeah.
Short, and then the other might go First Man, but I don't know. Number
Stalemating
12.
a bit here these last couple rounds.
Yeah, this is brutal. Number 12, you guys better get this one. Wow, racism is over.
Remember the Titans.
Yeah, George got that one. That one was the easy one. That's what I was going to start with. All right. Next up, a 4.5 out of 5. The review is: I too want to totally fuck up my neighbor's life.
I too want to
Drive.
Yeah, it's Drive. Yeah.
But like low key, he's like neighbors in a lot of things. I was like Lars and the Real Girl. Like I feel like he didn't want to fuck up their lives.
I guess
Oh,
that's fair,
shit.
but yeah.
Yep.
Good job, Tyler. What is it? 6-3?
6-3. I'm getting cooked.
He low key
Okay.
kind of saved his neighbors' lives in that movie, but whatever. Reviewer with not critical thinking.
3.5 out of 5. Bro, stop saying soulmate. You're scaring the hose.
Is
The
that crazy
Notebook?
stupid love?
That is crazy stupid love. Good work, Tyler.
Is he the one that's always saying soulmate, or is that Steve Carell?
Steve Carell.
Yeah.
All right, a 3-7. George, you need all of these to win.
All right,
Last 5.
I'll get him. Don't
No,
worry.
we have 6, so technically you can miss one, but you can't let Tyler get it.
Okay.
A 2.5 out of 5. Just a painfully average movie with some decent action set pieces.
The Fall
Gray
Guy.
Man.
It's the Gray Man, George. This is
Oh.
your own review. That's
Dude,
your
is it
review.
really?
George. Yes.
That's
That is
fun.
your review, dude. It's the review you wrote.
Oh, that's like one of my favorite moments ever on Real Talk. That the reveal that's your review is hilarious.
That's so ass.
Oh. And I was like, why are you that disappointed about him getting it wrong? Because the Gray Man or Fall Guy could easily be both those. He's like, that's your review.
Was that really my review?
Mhm.
It was my review.
Yep.
That is so whack.
Fuck
off.
That's a good one. All right, George, you need all of these to tie, and then we
All
can
right, dude.
find
I'm so cooked.
a 4.5 out of 5. This should have been Ryan Gosling's first Oscar.
Oh my
It's not.
god.
It's gonna take a shot in the dark to get this one.
This is gonna piss me off. The Notebook.
No,
Fuck. Thought it was a trick question.
I don't know.
it is.
Ides of March.
No, it's Crazy Stupid Love. I tried throwing out the popular ones in hopes you'd just guess them, but you guys are thinking too much.
I figured
about
that
it.
wasn't like a La La Land or Blade Runner 2049. It was one of his stupider
Yeah.
movies.
Mhm.
5 out of 5 for the number 17, just for funsies. 5 out of 5. I've taken all of your criticism into account and have determined that you're all wrong.
I've read this review.
Hmm.
Like
It is
word
like
for
the third
word.
highest review on.
Yeah, I've read this.
Barbie?
Oh, God.
No, not Barbie.
Has to be like a movie that popularly is not that popular, like not loved.
Dude, I've read this exact review. I have no idea. I don't know. Drive. I'll throw it out. I have no idea.
It's a La La Land.
Hmm.
Who the fuck
which
is
I-
criticizing La La Land?
Seth.
No, he gives it a 4
number-
star.
He gives it 3.5.
4.
Oh, maybe he lowered it. He gave it a 4 when it first.
Did he
came out.
lower it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
he gave it
3.5 now from when I just checked, but
Wow.
I could be
He
wrong.
hates musicals.
18. Why just be an ally when you can be an Allen?
Fuck, what movie is?
Does he play Alan in one of these movies?
It's tough. This is tough not knowing this one.
Nice Guys.
Mm-mm.
No, he doesn't play Alan. I don't know. Fucking song to song.
No, guys, it's Barbie. Michael Cera plays Alan. He's the only guy not named Ken. I thought that would.
The problem with this game is I'm so locked in on Ryan Gosling that I'm
Yeah.
not thinking any of the reviews could be anything not related to him. So
I was
that's-
trying
that's-
to think of what character.
I mean,
he
for the
played.
most part, you're
Yeah,
right, but some,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Should have got
I
that.
don't
The
know.
blinders were on.
Yeah, that's pitiful on our part for sure.
3.5 out of 5. The Literally Me gang will love this one.
The Fall Guy.
Nice.
Yes.
You nailed it. Nailed it. 4 to 8. That is. Have you guys ever seen the meme that's like Chris Paul nailed the 3 to cut the lead to 25 or something? That was George right there.
Literally, me thing with Ryan Gosling's funny, but some people take it too far. Like the Fall Guy, none of you are him in the Fall Guy. You're not.
I'm him.
I'm
sorry.
Stuntman.
That movie was based on my life.
True. Number 20, last one. I'm pregnant, and the father is Roger Deakins' camera.
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah,
I got that 8-5. Close that gap.
Yep.
Sure.
You know, that was actually was that the last one?
That was the last one.
We'll give you 3 points for it because it's the final one. There you
Oh,
go. 8-7.
8-7.
Great job.
Yeah.
Great job. Fantastic. Yeah, not the best performance. I thought a couple of those you guys should have gotten, but there are some that like this is Ryan Gosling's Oscar. I knew you wouldn't get it unless you take an absolute shot in the dark. But fun episode. Real quick draft this week still has not been decided, but we'll think of something fun, or we'll look at the comments and grab something fun. The Patreon review of the week is Black Swan. So go subscribe to the Patreon if you're able to. We'll never ask you guys to pay us, but it does help out a lot if you're willing and able, and we appreciate everyone that does. Appreciate everyone in the Discord. Really can't stress that enough. You guys give us the opportunity to do this every single week. Shout out the executive producers, Stefan Johnson, Stefan Niebuhr, and Sean Morales. Stefan Niebuhr, go say hi to George some more. Follow him around and stuff in theaters and such. And then next week on ReelTok, Planet of the Apes, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and I assume we'll rank the 4 movies, like the 4 in the Planet of the Apes trilogy.
I'm gonna try and watch some of the newer ones too. We'll try and have a more extended Apes discussion next week. We'll see.
The older ones or the newer ones?
The 70s Apes movies, like and before.
Yeah, so the older ones. Okay.
Yeah.
The
older ones.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I might try to watch those as well. But this one is like 300 years after the Planet of the Apes trilogy from Matt Reeves. So yeah, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes next week. I don't know if there's anything else coming out, but we will do that next week. Thank you all for subscribing to the YouTube. Please follow the Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, any social media that we have. Please go follow. Make sure to turn the bell on so you get a notification whenever our YouTube videos upload. Make sure to go check out the ReelTokPodcast.com shop. Haven't pushed that in a while, but we still always have some good things on there. And then, just follow us, Ryan Goochling. Ryan Gosling. Oh, we're all Ryan Goslings now. Fantastic. I love that Tyler has that ability. I just noticed. But yeah, make sure to follow all our social medias. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for coming. We will see you on Thursday.
Peace.